are live.
All right. What is up, beautiful people? It's Wolf Brother Mythos Cushionata from the channel Frost and Fist.
And I am Fabulous Freak.
And welcome to the show. Guys, we have a great big show tonight, and we've got so much planned. And if you've seen any of our advertising, we even have a special guest this week, the legendary IDICBeer 40K. But to start off with the elephant in the room, what's going on with this horror story scenario? And so, guys, we had a tornado come through Kingwood, the town I live in, earlier today, and a large chunk of my community and across the bridge into Atascita is without power right now. It's been out of power for most of the afternoon, but we decided we're not going to let that stop us because we have such a huge show planned for tonight. So we're going to rock this as long as we can. Hopefully the power comes back on while the show's going on and we can get some lights going on. But if not, we'll make this work as long as possible. So it's going to be interesting.
It will be interesting.
Until then, we'll continue to look like I'm in a horror movie. And if you see me get snatched off screen at some point, y'all call somebody.
It's like, so anyway, oh God, where'd he go?
So
what did Lily do to you? What did Lily do to you? No, it's finally happened. She did it.
You have no proof.
That's true. All you see is just
just my empty swiveling computer chair comes into the firelight once in a while.
I'm like, Mythos? 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 Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Lily? 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 Oh no. Oh. Well, that's all for the show for tonight. Stay frosty. You can see mine going.
There's a little freak-shaped hole in the wall behind you.
All right. So typically Mythos does the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and just call it out because he's down to one little thing, and we're trying to reserve as much power as he can. Our buddy. Okay, who is that? It's kind of hard to see now. All right, Archer. Archer says, "Evening, Freak and Mythos."
What up, brother?
Dark Light Dreamer. Hey, my brothers.
I think right before we started the show, Dark Light Dreamer got power back, so hopefully I will have power back soon too.
Lucky. Okay, they're telling me I need to crank up my volume. Okay, hang on, guys. Let me do so. All right, how's that? Is that any better? Testing 1, 2. You tell me there, bud. Is that any better? Better. All right, cool. All right, we're better.
Sweet.
All right. So, my brother Mythos, you know what we do this time of night? First thing we cover is what have you been doing?
Hobby update. So yeah. I really, for reasons I can't imagine at the moment, I can't really show you my hobby progress. But I laid some paint down, got my base coats done on 3 stealth suits for the town, and I don't think I will ever accept another white commission, white armor commission again, because man, every little misstroke, if you are too aggressive with your bristles and you accidentally flick some dark blue paint, man, it splatters like graffiti on the white armor.
Oh my God.
White armor is so difficult. So I'm enjoying my first white armor commission, and I will never accept another one. I will never paint white scars. I will never paint more towel.
Oh my God.
But I mean, as funny as it is, though, like it is definitely teaching me even more brush control than I had before because with dark armor you can get away. Apparently, you don't have to worry about how much pressure you put on your bristles because you don't have to worry about little bits of a flick of brush chips causing graffiti splatter on your armor. And
Oh,
so
jeez.
it's teaching me a lot, and it's teaching me a lot of patience. And whew,
White does that, man. White will leave you will either leave you sucking your thumb in a corner somewhere, or
it's so frustrating too because it takes work to get white armor the way you want it,
right.
and so it's like, oh man, I finally got this white armor exactly how I want it. Now I'm going to do this blue part over here, and god dang it. Oh man. But no, it's gone okay. And then I did some gluing this week, so I got 5 of these guys, some Primaris intercessors all glued up, and did some cleaning. They actually, I don't care what anybody says. The Dark Imperium set was a really good set.
Yeah, it really
Like
was.
there was almost no mold lines, very little cleanup.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff goes together, and I know a lot of people hate the monopose, but because of the monopose, these suckers are so easy to put together and make look good. I mean, this is definitely a low skill set
I
to
still have
make
my
me look okay.
intercessors to put together. I still have a lot of mana. As a matter of fact, like we talked about last time, my lieutenants and all my other stuff, I still have a whole bunch to do. So,
And this is also exciting because I don't know if you remember, but my Dark Imperium set is one of my hit list items for when we talked about our New Year's resolutions.
that's
So
right. That's right. Yeah, you're getting them. Just real quick, going back to the chat. Um, Archer says, I got my shield dread back from Richard from the Nerd Life. That is one heck of an assembler guy. That guy knows how to put stuff together. Did he paint it for you, or did he just put it together for you? Brother Daz, he's on the chat. Oi there, folks. What's going
what
on,
up,
brother
my brother?
Daz? So you got anything else that you did?
Nope, that is my entire hobby progress this week. I feel like I should have done more, but I was in Chicago most of the week and literally just about an hour ago walked in the door. So
How was the Windy City, my man?
it was the rainy city this week. So I get there and I left Houston and it was 85 and humid. So I was sweating my BLZ off. And um, so I didn't even think to grab a jacket. And I got there and it was 50 degrees and raining. So I stopped. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money for getting a jacket. So I stopped in a little Goodwill. Of course, because it was raining and cold, they're surprise, they were all sold out of jackets. They did have for like less than $10, like $7, a little or $6, a little Argyle sweater from that was like black with purple and gray, and it looked really cool. And I always associate Argyle sweaters with older people, but I really liked how it looked on me. So I think this is one of those signs that Mythos is an old guy now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wow, man. You're like, hey, this doesn't look so bad, and you got this tweed sweater, or whatever, you know.
Dude, I rocked that Argyle sweater all week.
A funny story that happened very similar to me. This was back when I was a regional service manager, and I had traveled to Boston to go, train with another manager, and we were invited to go to a ball game, right? To the Fenway, the baseball stadium, right? We were going to watch a game. It was the Red Sox playing the Mets, and I was like, man, that sounds like a great game. Free tickets, I am down. I did not realize that it was an open stadium. This is Boston. I can handle a cold. I cannot handle cold and rain. There I was, with a, long sleeve. I didn't have a jacket. I had nothing. But I know that they had a gift shop. Yeah. So I'm going around looking for stuff that I can. Sure enough, they have a hat and they have a sweatshirt. I paid $80 to stay warm
Ooh.
that night. Great game, but man, I'm like, oh. So yes, I still wear both of those as much as I can.
You paid $80
I
for it.
eighty
Yeah, you
dollars for
wear
it.
it.
Yeah, and people look at me, hey, you're not an Astros fan. Oh, there it is. Yeah, man, Mr. Rogers would have been
That's my old
proud.
man sweater. I'm
um,
like, you know what? Rocking this.
hey, I mean, it works, and it keeps you warm. Functionality, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah. So, and normally 50 degrees is not a lot for me.
right,
I'm cold natured, so normally 80 degrees is nothing for me. But
right,
for some reason, with that Chicago wind plus the rain, that felt way different than 50 degrees down here.
right, definitely.
You
Uh,
know, I say
yeah.
down here, and I mean Texas, because right now I'm pointing like down here because it looks like I'm somewhere else.
You're live from
It's
the
way different than 50
Amazon.
degrees
Live
in
from
hell.
right. It's like you're calling this. You're streaming from the Amazon somewhere. You know. Catching up on the chat, we got Archer. He said that to answer the original question, it's just assembly. Um, Brother Atlas, yo, candlelight? Question mark.
To the
Yeah,
ambiance.
yeah, just such the mood. Just the mood. Originally, we were gonna like, hello, welcome to the Frost and Fist. Welcome to the show. But we're not at Chippendales, so we decided, hey, let's just keep it straight, right, Mythos? We're not doing our normal stage stuff, so let's just blue steel.
I laughed so hard before I immediately came back on.
Uh, so Roxas says your power's out too. Uh,
Yep.
yeah, either that or he's doing some kind of seance ritual. I don't know. You know how he rolls 20s rolls sixes sometimes. His luck's pretty darn good. I wonder how it happens.
Oh, we are definitely staying away from the seances.
So, anyway, so what I've been doing this week, I actually did a little bit of hobbying. I'm actually proud to say, the last couple of weeks I've done zero. I mean, good egg hobby, no hobby. This week I was actually I enjoyed actually putting together. I'm not finished yet, but working on the what do you call it? It's the venerable dreadnought for a friend of mine, our friend Steve, who's in our chat group, and yeah, I'm like, oh well, I've forgotten how fun this is. I'm just relaxing, putting it together. I kind of reached out to him because I started thinking of a color scheme that he wants because he runs Dark Angels, and just like, okay, this is going to be so cool. I can't wait. So, putting together the weapons, and because you've got all the different arms. You've got the twin link last cannons. You've got the huge plasma rifle, and what else he's got on there. I think it's three different weapons. The assault cannon. So anyway, he's got some good weapon options that I'll be putting together, but it's gonna be fun. I can't wait to finally get that going, and I'm just ready to paint. It's been way too long. I'm ready to get my airbrush, blow the cobwebs out,
Man,
and
you're having such a good time with assembly. I got a couple dreadnoughts I can send you.
well, if you do recall, I did put together like 40,000 dreadnoughts for that last commission that I had. Like, oh.
I'm surprised you're willing to look at a dreadnought at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I've been on a good sabbatical for a while. I think it's time to come out and do a little work. So it was relaxing. It was enjoyable. Like, okay, yeah, this is just how it's supposed to be, nice and chilled. So I think this weekend I'm going to spend some more time and actually and finish it and just assemble it. Actually, I'm going to paint it partially assembled. That way I can, because I really, really want this to pop. I want to get all the wiring and all the, all the stuff done. And so yeah, it's going to be, all the details going to be really good. But I won't be able to do that if I have it fully assembled. I'm going to do the same thing for my Leviathan. So I can't wait to do that. So, how we doing on power, my man? You're still alive?
17%, baby.
Oh gosh. Oh jeez.
Man, that 50% dropped quickly. So another hobby thing we did this week, though, we got in back-to-back D&D sessions. That was cool.
I had a freaking blast, guys. If you don't, by the way, the guy that you see, Forge the Wild, that is our friend Atlas. He is an amazing DM.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Amazing. Great host for a D&D game. And from what I learned something, Mythos. Did you know that, here's a fun fact, by the way, because I had to learn this. And he actually spilled the beans. I didn't realize this. A lot of the stuff that we go through, he's just pulling it out of the air. He's making it up as he goes.
I figured with such a creative campaign like Alice in Dreamland, that definitely seemed like a homebrew.
Let me tell you something. Honestly, it almost seemed like he planned all that. Like this is something that he had forever. Like he's got it all scripted out. He's got everything. This was such a great story, and
yeah, it was fantastic.
It was, and I haven't had so much fun. Oh, not only that, but we've got my middle daughter Nina, and your brother, Dark Light Dreamer, actually came out and joined us as well. So
yeah, it was a real blast for sure.
Yeah.
I got to pet a displacer beast, and our GM said I was 100% not going to let you pet that beast. I said, "Well, can I make an animal check roll?" Nat 20. He's like, "I don't know if anyone in all in D&D has ever pet a displacer beast like a kitty before." I'm like, "Kitty."
Of all the people, Mythos is the one who goes like, "I want to pet it," and we're all looking at him like. Can he do that? I want to pet it. Mythos, come on. I want to pet it. Whatever. He rolls, right? Because I'm seriously, I really was thinking he was going to lose his arm. This was it. Like, okay, great. Well, we're going to have to find another character. He's going to have to, hey, you know what? Get another sheet ready because you're going to get devoured. 20. How? How, though? How? Roll the freaking 20. And Atlas was like, you pet it. Catching up on the chat real quick. Brother Daz says, can we get a D&D recap videos? Nothing fancy. 1 to 2 minutes description of story so far and events.
Yeah. Actually, we were just working on that this week. I'm glad that that's something you're interested in.
Yep.
That'll be really cool.
Yep, that's something coming up. Let's see. Brother Atlas, great group to play with. Dark Light Dreamer, it was an amazing first session. Running Bear, hello all. Running Bear, welcome, my friend. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for coming by. And Brother Daz, hell yeah.
Running Bear, my man, really enjoyed your tournament recap. If I get power back at some point, we'll definitely go through that. And I'm definitely stoked to talk about some of that.
So, guys, we're kind of down to the wire. Please kind of bear with us because we're at some point we're either going to get power.
I can hear the power truck outside right now.
So we're like, and that Mythos is down to like 14 or 13%. Like, come on, you can do it.
Like Bob Cratchit watching the last coal burn for warmth.
Oh, and I want in on this. Brother Roxas says, I need to do some Dresden soon. If you do, I'm in. I am in. I am so in. I'm on round 2 of the Dresden files of the books, of the series. Oh my God. I think I'm on the book 3 now.
By round 2, he means he's rereading through the series.
Yes, exactly. It's like, oh my gosh, freaking love it.
I have to tell you, that game is fantastic so far. I really love it. In that game, I am a summer knight, but I am not the summer knight because it takes place at the same. His particular campaign is taking place at the same time as the Dresden story.
Right.
So I am an anomaly. I somehow have part of the summer mantle without actually being the official summer knight, and it's crazy.
That's wild. Yeah. Brother Roxas says it isn't scheduled till 10:30 tonight. I hope that's not the case. He's talking about probably the power coming back at that time. But he says
so possibly sooner because Razzie already got his power back. So for anyone who's curious, Brother Roxas lives literally 2 streets over from me, and Brother Raz lives. Darklight Dreamer lives about 2 blocks from me. So we're very close, and I can hear them outside. I know Darklight Dreamer's already got power back. I'm just praying.
Oh my God. Okay. He says, but Centerpoint can't be trusted. Running Bear says the hounds of hell are nipping at your heels, Mythos. That's right. Brother Daz.
Just like saying.
Anomaly Knights. Brother Roxas says, beware, I may try to kill you as a GM. Oh, come on, really? Really? Is that?
Oh no,
that
he's good for that.
Really?
He's good for that.
Come on, man. All right, guys, I can't wait to play. I'm dead.
The last guy who tried to join our Dresden campaign, he turned into a dewdrop fairy that died immediately.
Oh man, I'll just watch then. We're good.
It was Kyle though. So I mean,
okay. He's always dies.
Unfortunately, Brother Kyle, it does take the most abuse in our group. Although, before Dresden, we were playing a game called Chronicles of the Stars, and we were fleeing from a planet that was undergoing basically a tyrannid infestation. Big giant bug monsters were eating the planet, and we all got to a starship, and the pilot was just freaking out, like, "We're not going to make it. I'm like, I shoved him out of the chair, and I'm like, you know what? I'm a hell of a pilot. Let me do this. And I rolled like equivalently nat 20s, okay? And so I'm sitting there doing like high flying, fancy stuff, spiraling around, crashing comets and asteroids and bits of spaceship where the Tyranids are munching through some of the orbital defenses and stuff like that. I'm dodging like giant bug ships, of the Tyranids. I'm doing all kinds of cool stuff. But we had forgotten that earlier in the fight that we used to get onto this ship, he had been tagged by a bug spore. Well, that bug spore took over Darklight Dreamer's mind. And so I'm flying. I save us from certain doom in this Tyranid infestation. And as soon as we break free of the Tyranids, we look like we're going to live. He pulls out his pistol and executes me in the back of my head. And
I'm laughing because Roxas just said that.
So then my character and Lily's character had just started kind of dating. So as soon as he took out his pistol and executed me, she pulls out her sniper rifle, thrusts it into the back of his head, and pulls the trigger. And then there was no one left to pilot the ship, so we all died.
Yeah, Brother Roxas says, let's see, and Raz shoots you in the back of the head.
Yep, that's how that went.
Running Bear says, a good GM kills you very slowly and grins behind a screen as he does. Oh! Woohoo! Yes!
All right.
Thank you, God. All right, dude, do your deal.
You take over the chat while I go get charge cables.
Okay, very good. All right, guys. Let me just keep reading from the chat. Running Bear, also for the new players, always wearing brown pants is a good choice. Wait, why? Why brown pants? I don't get it. Hey, Brian, welcome, man. Welcome to the Okay, so the story is that, and trust me, we were nervous. Mythos will be right back. He's actually plugging in his phone. We had a major storm that came through the area. Of course, the area that the little town that he lives in, completely out of power. Power just came back on, and we were kind of down to the wire because I think he was like down to 10% battery life on his phone. So we were just, yeah, we were just freaking out a little bit. So, yeah, definitely a big storm. Power just came back on. We're super excited. Yeah, we had some tornado warnings. It was a little scary. As a matter of fact, it's the storm. It was a supercell that started actually just a little south from where I live, but it tracked all the way across from 249 Tomball, and it went all the way through the woodlands where I work, and actually passed over us. Luckily, there was nothing touched down. There were some sightings prior to getting to that point, but that storm system continued to go through all the way into Kingwood, and it just wreaked havoc. It just, anyway, I heard there was hail and there's some flooding, and just, it was just nasty. Mythos barely was able to get it in because there was a lot of flooding in around his area, around his house. So, but yeah, it definitely took out the power for a while. But hey, he's rolling sixes tonight. Holy cow, that's his luck. Freaking lucky. Anyway, glad he's doing it. So right now he's just taking a quick time out to plug in his phone, make sure that he'll have power, because we got a long what do you call it, a long show, because we'll have brother Nick on here later on tonight. If you guys want to stay on and join us, I know most of y'all probably have to work tomorrow, whatever. Nick will be on approximately around midnight. Unfortunately, that's the earliest that we can get him, because he's at UK time, and that would be 3 a.m. for him. So he's actually getting up extremely early for Saturday morning in order to be able to do that. So just going back to the chat real quick. Oh no, that's not. Oh, okay. Power just turned back off. That's not good. That's not good. Oh, that's freaking sucks. Oh, that's not good. Running bear. So when you are being pushed about, ready to die and survive, no one can see that you pooed your pants. Okay. Okay, it's a good point. Never quite really saw it that way. Quarter size hail, it said. Yeah, that's what I heard too. See, there's a lot of people that work in the hospital that I work at in Shenandoah who live in Kingwood, and they've reported a lot of that same thing. Oh, okay. I'm excited for this, guys. Well, let me just read this real quick. Brian from Tom McDog Scale Model Freak. Wow, San Antonio's getting hammered. Yeah, they got nailed. Dark Light Dreamer. I got the rest of my parts in. Those of you guys who haven't had a chance to really, take advantage of watching, Dark Light Dreamer is a Let's Player, one of the most amazing Let's Players out there. Man, I told him he's one of my top three favorites. And he definitely amazing work. Guys, if you have not watched him, go check him out. It's Dark Light Dreamer. He's got an amazing YouTube channel, and he does a lot of Let's Plays. But lately, he's not been able to do any of the Let's Plays because his computer took a crap, right? He's not been able to do much. If I'm reading this right, you're saying that you got all your parts in. I know. Roxas told me. Freaking
yeah.
Dadgummit.
So I think Nick said 10 to 12, so he'll be on a little earlier than midnight.
Oh, good. I hope that's the case, but I know, the expectation is close to 12. But hey, Dark Light Dreamer just says, I got the rest of my parts in. Do we know if he's referring to this computer? That way he can start
That's
doing
what it sounds like.
thing? I'm super excited. Guys, look, there's been no Dark Light Dreamer lately. So I've already binge watched all of his videos, every one of them. My favorite are his jump scares, but all his videos I've already watched. My problem is I had no more Dark Light Dreamer, so I'm resulting to cheating a little bit. Yeah, it's Yeah, it's not
You're seeing
quite.
Markiplier behind his back.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's like it's not quite Dark Light Dreamer, but it's I guess it's the next best thing. And Dark Light Dreamer comes back. Oh, hey, baby, how you doing? Oh, you're my only one. You're my only true. I only watch your stuff. Only just you. You're the only one that matter to me. So,
You're my number one customer.
so, but yeah, man. So I'm really excited. That means that if what I'm seeing is correct, then Dark Light Dreamer will be back, guys. So excited. Super excited. So anyway, so where you at on power right now, man? On your phone? I know.
5 minutes.
Oh, flipping chickens. Oh.
Well, you know what we could use to make us feel better in this dark situation? I think we could use some words of encouragement.
Yes, we might as well roll with that, right? Guys, if you're not aware, every week now we have a new segment that we invite our very special, one of our special guests, of course, who is a permanent fixture now here at the Frost and Fist, our very own Chaplain Emo. And
yes,
we get so excited because as a chaplain, his job is to bring encouragement to our to the troops, right? And so without further ado, because we're probably limited on power there, aren't we?
right.
Let's see what's going on with our very own Chaplain Emo. Let's see what's going on here. That's a cheery song. I love that. Just cheers me up.
How can you not feel encouraged to this kind of music?
Listen to our Chaplain Emo, and his joy will make you scream. So when the world is down, you want to scream. Just listen to the words of Chaplain Emo.
All right. Well, Mythos, I guess we should ask the question from the chaplain, right?
I don't know if it's encouragement I need this week, but I want to know how the chaplain is. Obviously a spiritual leader needs to be in a good place to bring us, that kind of fervor for the emperor. So, let's find out how our chaplain is. How you doing, my man?
That's a very good point, right? Because a leader has to lead from within, right, and without. He's got to be the example.
Right. If he's not feeling it, how are we supposed to feel it?
All right. Let's see. Oh, there he is.
Every time people ask me if I'm okay, it's just a reminder that I'm not.
All right.
Did we get the right guy? Is that the right guy?
So that's this week's word of encouragement from Chaplain Emo.
So we're already getting some reactions from the chat. Mythos, brother Archer says, okay, he wants the true facts of Elstonation. Those are definitely a part of the program as well. He also says, "Oh God, what unholy abomination is this?" LOL. Brother Atlas, y'all are goofing. LOL. Dark Light Dreamer says, "Hey man, you okay, bro?"
And Chaplain Emo always likes to tell us, if you don't feel it inside, you might be as empty as him. So that's our weekly encouragement this week.
Oh my gosh. So anyway. Yeah, I tell you what, that was I have no words. A running bear says, Chaplain, bah, where's my wolf priest? No wonder you get that type of advice.
Guys, I'm about to die, so Freak is going to guide you through our artwork of the week. But before my power goes, I want everyone to remember that when the world gets you down and you want to screamo, just listen to the words of Chaplain Emo. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and do the art of the week. Hopefully, we can get a little bit going on here while you're still here, right? So we have two art of the week, and the first one I would like to show is somebody that I think I really fell in love with his work, and somebody you guys might be familiar with. So let me pop that on here real quick. That's not in. That would be this guy here. Let me crank that sucker up. You hang in there, Mythos. Don't go nowhere, bro. Let's see here.
All right, so it's the actual night is complete. I do have to work on the base, but everything is done. This has been taking a while. Woohoo!
Guys, that was Brother Rob's night.
Such a beautiful piece of work.
Look, let me tell you something. By the way, if you guys saw that, you saw all the drawing. Those aren't decals. He drew that. He sketched those. He did that himself, and beautiful, beautiful work. He still had to do the base, and I actually reached out to see if he has a completed, picture, but he hasn't been responded to this yet. Amazing, amazing work, and I'd say that's kind of one of my favorites. My favorites that I've seen so far. I just built my night not too long ago.
Really impressive thing is that this night is the first attempt ever at doing any freehand.
Yep.
He decided to go big or go home. I think I'm going to freehand. I'm going to do it on this great big Imperial night. So,
bold. That's bold. That's super bold, man.
Freehand as far as painting, of course, he is a teacher and he does a lot of art sketching and stuff like that. So he's not new to sketching, but it is a different world. If you ever sketch anything, do it with a paintbrush that is, flippy, floppy, it's soft, right? Versus using a hard tip like a pen or a pencil.
Right. So the next art of the week, don't leave me, bro. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Please.
I don't want to go.
Oh my gosh. Dark Light Dreamer says, this has been a word from our sponsor. Yes. Brian, a scale model freak says LOL. Running Bird, nice. Sweet. Brian says, are you crying? Mesos, there's no crying in painting. Running Bear says, Mythos, as you journey through the warp, just remember, Slanesh is not to be trusted, even though they are very alluring.
But they have boobies.
That just sucks. He's just gonna leave me. Gosh, it's like knowing, you're gonna go through that warp, and I will never see you again. You won't come back. You won't come back.
This escalated quickly. Never again. Never again.
I mean, it feels so final. I mean, come on, guys, really. I mean, I feel like you're in the never. Come back.
What's going to happen is my power's going to go. Then Nick's going to come on early, and you're going to have the most amazing show we've ever had, or will ever have. And
this is my luck. You're full of crap, right? You're so full of it.
It's funny. It was as I was making that joke that the phone died.
Oh God. Okay, there it goes. So his phone just died. Well, that's there you go. All right. Well, let me just continue with the art of the week then, guys. So this next one that I'm going to show you, Mythos actually picked it out, and it is. Oh, let me just go back. That was from Brother Rob from the Miniatures Paintbrush. Huge kudos to him. Great work on that night. I just can't believe that he actually sketched those sketch those drawings on his own. He freehanded everything, and just beautiful, beautiful work. Now he tried to give me some encouragement, right? He's like, you can do this. Like, no, I can't. No, you can do it. You just go for it. Do it. Try. No, 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 no. I can't. My sketches. Okay, I classify myself as an okay painter. I'm not the best, but when it comes to sketching, no, there's no doodling, there's no sketching. I draw stick figures. Even my stick figures look anemic. Okay, so no, there's absolutely no way that I can do that. And he did it without a problem. So I think he has some obvious skill, and I guess you kind of need that to be able to sketch it. I don't know if you guys do any of your sketches, any sketching or any freehanding on your models when you're working on them, or do you rely, like me, you rely solely on decals if you have them? I can't freehand to save my life. I just don't have that. Atomic Scale Model Freak says, no! I yell all in my Luke Skywalker voice. I can't believe he freaking left me, man. He doesn't understand how this works, There's a dynamic that goes on here, right? I'm like, come on, you really think I'm going to do this on my own? Oh, God. Very elliptical art. Only if I want very... Running Bear, I guess I see that. And here's the thing. I would probably attempt it if it was a very, very large model. A knight? Maybe. Like the shoulder pads. But he the way he did it was he actually freehanded almost every part of the armor. So he did the shoulder pads. He did some of the knee guards. What else? All the shielding. Oh, the canopy, the whole top. He freehanded all that, and I just, it's amazing. My stuff will look so derpy. I'm telling you, it would look like a 3-year-old did it with a crayon, and I think a 3-year-old can probably do it better. So it's just whatever. So anyway, so this next guy that Mythos chose, he's actually part of the IDICBeer 40K unification page, and really, really does some great work. So just to kind of set it up for you guys, about 3-4 months ago, I had just completed, 3 months ago, I just completed a commission on salamanders. Right, I had a whole mess of salamanders that I was doing for a friend of ours, and of course, that particular client that I was working with wanted a very dark, very, very, I wouldn't say neutral, but more earth tony, just really like the browns and the greens, very dark, almost like a grayish green, not really green. Salamanders, you guys seen them. They're typically green. They're very bright. They're vibrant. They have flames. They're really out there. But these were more muted tones. So this next one I'm going to show you looks amazing. These are classic salamander colors, and they look simply amazing. So let me get that up for you guys. Bear with me here. All right. So that is Clayton. I'm sorry, I'm butchering his name. Clayton Biber. I am so sorry. I don't want to say Bieber because I don't like Bieber, but I'm just saying. So, okay, this is a Leviathan. Guys, look at this. He hand painted all these flames on that one side of the of the armor. Just absolutely beautiful. Not only did he do that, but look at the score marks, the battle damage, right? All the wear and tear. But what I like about this is that it does not look like it's been severely damaged. It looks like it's been in battle, but it doesn't look, worn. I like that he kind of maintained an element of, cleanliness, I guess. It looks fresh. But he's a veteran. You can tell he's been out there. You can tell that he's, he's been in plenty of fights. And I love how, he did the scoring on that. All the scratches and the great work. Let's see here. Let me see if I can. This is the back side of this. Again, fantastic shading. Look at the base. He did a lava base. I'm a huge fan of lava bases. If you guys are not aware, I've actually done some lava bases, and although I use more of like the hot glue for the lava flow, and some people do like what he does, actually do the elevation and then actually paint the lava flow on a flat surface, which is the base, and it works beautifully. He did a very minimalistic approach here, and it works. It works absolutely wonderful. And I love how the cooler areas a little darker red, while the hot areas are still bright yellow. Gorgeous work. You can see how he has the sooty exhaust, right? The stains here on the near the exhaust cowls. Just gorgeous work, man. Again, Clayton has done an amazing job. Here's another angle. Man, this guy, I'm a huge fan of how he does his salamanders. Again, look at the flames here on the shoulders, and you also can see the pipes, the exhaust pipes. He's got the metallics. He's got a very good blend between, with all the metallics. I've seen way too many dreadnoughts where all the metallics blend with one color. It's either all going to be lead belcher or all going to be some kind of bright silver. I love how he breaks it down. It's not monochromatic. It's a beautifully done. Even the very tips almost look like a type of bronze. Very gorgeous work. Apparently he's definitely an airbrusher, because you can kind of see the highlight, right? He's got the lighter tones here by the legs, and of course right here towards the lower section, and the shading a little bit on the top. You can see that. Again, beautiful work. That's another angle, man. Look at the score marks, guys. This is just an absolute beautiful work. And okay, here's somebody who does not overdo it with edge highlighting. And this is something that I kind of struggle with, because I really don't know how much highlighting is too much. So you'll notice that there is some edge highlighting, but it's not throughout the entire model. It's only in key sections. Like you see at the foot pads, he definitely has some edge highlighting there. He definitely has the edge highlighting to kind of bring out the scoring and the scratches, but he doesn't have it all over, the entire model. So this is really, again, well thought out, beautiful artwork on the flames. Just fantastic. There was another one I want to show you guys. This guy's got, it's just gorgeous work. Where is it? He did a he painted a, I want to say, was it a rhino? Okay, here we go. All right, this is absolutely amazing work. You see the flames. This though has been in the trenches. You can kind of tell just by looking at it. This vehicle has been in a lot of battle. Has been in a lot of what do you call it? Well, a lot of conflict. And again, he just did a fantastic job of really weathering it out, and making it look like it's just been through hell and back. Again, beautiful work, Clayton. Gorgeous work. The flames is what captures me. I really like how he's done that. That's all freehand. Again, looks absolutely amazing. So here is his base. Again, he's going for the whole lava base look. I love that. He very minimalistic, but very, I mean, it looks great. He made it work. Very effective. So anyway, gorgeous work, man. All right, let's get back to the chat, and I am by myself. Let me catch up on the chat. Let's see, where are we here? Only if you want. Okay, only if I want very ecliptic. Okay, we got that. Running Bear says nice lava base as well. 33 Clay Dog. Hey, man, welcome to the show. Hey guys, how painted? Who painted that? Who painted that crap? I don't know. I can see that. Yeah, that would have been. Oh, you're so. Don't do that, man. Man, look, I'm telling you, you do amazing, amazing, amazing work, man. So that's just. I was just showing your Leviathan, just absolutely, absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous work, man. And here's the thing. I mean, I was just. I don't know if you caught what I was saying. You don't overdo it with the highlights. And that's something that I'm kind of learning because I do highlights, edge highlighting for everything. You kind of you don't do that. You don't oversaturate the model with the edge highlighting, and I was really impressed with that because you made it work. Typically, when we airbrush something, we do the highlighting and the shading, right? You get the zenithal effect, but I go right back and just do the edge highlighting, and I do it throughout the entire model. I looked at your model and I studied it for a while, and I'm looking, okay, I don't see edge highlighting all over the place. It's not like, okay, edge highlighting, you put it right where it matters, right around the foot pads. You put it right around where you have the scoring, right? The scoring marks, the scratch marks, the damage, and a little bit on some areas of the shell, but you did not saturate it, and I think that really, really speaks volumes, man. So gorgeous, gorgeous work. Also, the lava bases are fantastic, and I was just saying how a lot of my personal lava bases I do, kind of like you do, but I try to do the whole 3D effect, and I'll do the hot glue effect. And then I'll go back and I'll paint it. Now that can be kind of tricky. The way you did it though looks absolutely amazing, and it's very minimalistic and it's very simple. But when you look at it, it looks full. It looks like it's real lava, and it doesn't detract from the model. And I think that in itself, is a very, very good. It's a very good artistic value because the base should never take away from the subject, the main subject. The main subject is the model, right? The Leviathan, all right, or the vehicle. The lava base should never outstage the model, and that's something that I really, really, that's what really stuck out to me. So gorgeous work, man. So yeah, absolutely no. So thank you so much for putting those out there, man, because that's gorgeous work. Again, guys, if and look, I would like to showcase as much as we can. Mythos and I are happy to do this. We'll go and scour the internet, and we'll look for sort of some of our local guys. We'll look for folks in our local community pages, and if we see some really good artwork, we can go and post it, and we'll give some shout outs, because, hey, these are true artists. These are guys that really put a lot of heart and soul into their work, and it shows because it's gorgeous, gorgeous work. But if you guys have any work, like, hey, Archer or, anybody else, if you got something that you'd like for us to showcase it, go ahead and send us a link. Shoot it to us either on Messenger or send it to us on our Facebook or what do you call it, on our email, and that's frost.and.fists@gmail.com, and we'll go ahead and we'll review it, and we'll go ahead and post it. We'll showcase it, guys. And look, honestly, we are all in different stages of our art, right? I'm at a stage, and Mythos is at a different stage, and everybody has to go through certain stages in order to get to where we feel there's perfection. And even when you get to that point, you still don't feel like you've accomplished, like you've reached it. There's always more that you can do. But anyway, all right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and move on now to the next section of the show. And I'm sorry, we're kind of moving a little quick. Just to give you a little recap what's going on, there is an empty spot right next to me. Can't believe he left me. Mythos, he is without power right now. And we had a storm that had come through the area. And unfortunately, the area that he lives, the little town he lives, got hit really, really hard. There was a lot of flooding, a lot of power that got taken out. And just for a brief moment, we saw the lights in the background come on. And then they went right back out. Like, oh. So, I'm hoping he's back by the time our special guest comes back, and just kind of give you a little hint. That special guest was the one who actually gave us our start, or kind of encouraged us to do our start to do videos, you know. And so hopefully Mythos can come back on by that time. But anyway, so that's what's going on. Mythos, he was trying to use his cell phone. Battery went completely dead. He's got no other power source to get it going, and so we're kind of stuck here. All right. So we don't have any other questions or any comments. I'm going to go ahead and start going into the GW news. There's a couple of things that I'm kind of go over, and again, the crazy thing about it is a lot of this has already been covered by other channels. So I'm not going to go too much in depth, but the FAQ that had just come through the beginning of that on the 29th, which is the end of the last month, but still fairly new to us. Really interesting because it kind of covers a lot of more clarification for the rules. And at first, you know, I'm very reactive when it comes to things. You know, it's like, oh wait, hey, I can't believe they did that. You know, oh my gosh, there they go. And I was gonna come on and just be salty about it because, you know, hey, it's inconsistencies. You know, just take something and stick to it and leave it alone. Don't mess with it. You know, but it really wasn't that. After reading the rules, after reading the FAQ, and the updates rather, they've actually been able to, you know, clarify. Really, there was more of a clarification more than really rules changing, which was really good. So we're not going to go over too much in depth, but I will cover, you know, some of the highlights here. And again, bear with me because I'm flying solo, and typically I'll have Mythos to be able to. Yo, just woke up. Where is Mythos? Nick, you would just wake up. God bless it. Okay, guys. Nick, if you want to jump on, my man, you can go right ahead. Mythos, yeah, the storm took out his power, and basically, I'm kind of flying solo right now, hoping and praying that he can make it to come back on. We're kind of hoping that he can be on before you got on, but I'll have another placeholder if he does, if he's able to manage to get back on. So, but yeah, you're more than welcome to jump on. You have the link. We'll get you on here, and we'll have a little chat. But yeah, so here's to waiting on Mythos to get back on. One of somebody in the chat said it probably is going to be more like 10:30. It's 9:30 now, so probably another hour before power might be restored at Mythos' place. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out. So I can wait to chat about the GW news and like the FAQ and stuff there. By the way, guys, no, I'm just waking up. Okay, that's fine, my man. Take your time. So, by the way, it's not just the FAQ, not just the updates. There was a lot of updates on the different erratas as well. Almost all the codices have gotten updates. I haven't had a chance to really go through every one of them. I've got them all set to look at them because the ones that really would affect us, of course, the Space Wolves, with Brother Mythos, and of course myself, because I am interested and I'm going to be playing Space Wolves, and I'm curious to see what kind of changes they made there. Also, you've got the regular Space Marine Codex. There's a new errata changes on there. What else? Oh, Admech, because Mythos plays Admech, and of course the Imperial Knight, and what else? I've got Tau. Because we're all as much as we have our love for the Tau, right? We wanted to see how much extra love they actually got from GW with this latest update. You guys know I don't like to do this solo. I absolutely hate it. I abhor it. Oh gosh. Anyway, all right. So let's just go over the rules real quick, just to see what they have. So bear with me, guys. All right. Let me jump on there real quick here. Let's see. Here's our rules. That's it. All right. So there have been a couple of updates on the rules, right? So there have been some again questions on whether part of the model can be moved up to the edge of the battlefield, which is the edge of the board. So they went ahead and they've solidified that that issue. So moving forward, basically they've made it very clear: no part of a model or its base can be set up or moved over the edge of the battlefield. Also, you'll see it here. Change the second paragraph to read: if the datasheet for a model says it can fly, then during the movement phase, it can move across models as if they were not there. And when moving across terrain features, vertical distance is not counted against the total it can move. All right, so this is really good because prior to that, there have been it was an issue because if it's a enemy model blocking it, you couldn't fly over. That was kind of like the issue there. Now, of course, it can fly over pretty much anything as if it's not blocking, because it makes perfect sense. Okay, so it's in the air. There's nothing really blocking it, right? So why did they have to put this? It to me it's common sense, but I guess they had to really make it a little bit clearer. If the data sheet for the model says it can fly, then during the charge phase, it can move across models other than buildings as if they were not there. Right? It's pretty cool. Also, part of the movement phase, add the following text to the end of the movement phase. Aircraft: if the unit can fly and it has a minimum move characteristic, or if it has a damage table on its data sheet that includes any minimum move characteristics, that unit gains the aircraft keyword. That's different. Let's see. Let me go do this one here. Friendly transport, they can embark within it. Okay. All right. So the embark rule: if all models in a unit end their move within 3 inches of a friendly transport in the movement phase, they can embark within it. And then now the following sentence, blah, blah, blah. Units cannot declare a charge during the same turn that they disembarked from a destroyed transport. That's another thing. That was more of an exploit. So basically what's happening is that they would actually, a player would actually use a transport and basically purposely wreck it in order to be able to disembark and charge on the same turn. So now they're limiting that. They're kind of putting a plug on that exploit, and they're able to say, okay, from now on, yeah, if you wreck it, that's fine. Yeah, you can disembark, but you're not going to charge. Even though it's destroyed. So that's actually a good thing. Let's see what else. Blah 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 blah. Designer comments. There's a lot of Q&A. All right. I can hardly see that, guys. Hang on, make difference. Difference to which unit rule apply. Keyword. I can't. I don't think it's like using points values. What is the point value of unit champions? Hold on. Let me see if I can maximize that. Okay. In a match, excuse me, in a match play game or another game that is using points values, what is the points value of a unit champion, a sergeant or boss or novice? Unless noted otherwise in the points value entry for that unit, a unit champion has the same points cost as the other models in their unit. That's good clarification. If a rule says it affects models that are wholly within, then it only applies. I'm sorry, let me ask the question. Can you clarify what the difference is between wholly within and within for rules purposes? If a rule says it affects models that are wholly within, then it only applies if every part of the model's base or hull is within. If a rule says it affects models that are within, or however, then it applies so long as any part of the model's base or hull is within. Okay, let me just stop right here because I gotta say something, guys. I don't know about you, but this is the kind of part that this is the kind of thing that really gets me. There's so many changes which are great. I like the fact that they're doing a lot of clarification. I like the fact that they're doing some good stuff there. My concern is that it's almost like the American tax code. I paid $40 for my rule book. Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm okay spending money for a rule book that has rules in it. Okay, and I'm okay for making changes where changes are needed. But now I have so many different resources for rules. It's kind of crazy, you know. So all those changes that are being made, they're superseding what's in the actual rule book. Okay, and again, I understand why. I get why, but this has been something that I noticed a pattern from GW. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying for me, it's annoying because I like to have one set of rules, one book, and I'm done. You know, wait another year, wait 6 months, and come up with an actual hard book, rules 2.0. I don't know. It is just really annoying for me. So I'm not a fan of that many changes, especially when it comes to something that I've already spent money on, and then now I gotta have a stack of pages to supersede, what's already in that rule book that I've already purchased, right? So anyway, that's just me on my stump, guys. Just going over the chat real quick. Hey Nick, hey Clayton. Hey, at least your transitions are really smooth tonight. LOL. Thanks, Archer. You're doing just fine. I appreciate it, Running Bear. And again, this is not my comfort zone. I'm usually the tech guy. I usually like to do stuff in the background, and I like to accompany Mythos, because that's how it's always been. Space Wolf characters with jump packs are going to be insane again with heroic intervention. I have to agree. I'm glad they're finally giving a little bit of love back to the Space Wolves, and I can tell you, Mythos would agree for sure. It's nice to see that he's actually running his Thunderwolf cavalry because oh my gosh, okay, when he went for the longest time without his codex, he was absolutely just intolerable. Bear with me, guys. I'm going to send Nick the link. Give me 1 second. Let me send this. Love it, love it, love it. Dead air, right, guys? Bear with me here. Okay. All right. So let's see if he can jump on in here. Probably take the this side here. So we'll see. Nick, I just sent you the link, my man. I sent it to you in Messenger. It's a matter of fact, if you're watching the video, it's actually the same one that's right there in front of it. For the whole world to see. So, everybody can join. Don't, please don't. Um, we'll wait till he jumps on because he'll have some. He'll be able to get some insight. So anyway, guys, what kind of hobby work have you guys been working on? What's the latest? You know, what have y'all been painting? What have y'all been assembling? What have kind of trouble y'all been getting into? Huh? All right, we're getting a ding here. Let's see what goes on. God bless it. I can't believe Mythos left me. You know, and I called it. I knew it was going to happen. It was like, okay, you know what's going to happen? You got no power. You're going to disappear. Your battery's going to die before Nick gets on, and you know. Archer, I did a couple of HQs for my alternate color gray knights. Awesome, man. You know, share those, share with us, man. If you don't mind, we'd like to share those here as well. Archer has been doing some amazing work, by the way. Just gorgeous work, man. You've been doing really great work. I guess he's having a hard time with getting on. Hang on, let me see what's going on. Oh, there's another attempt. Hang on, guys. Let me see if I can help him out here. Okay. Come on, you can do it. Good old technology. Oh my goodness. Come on, Nick. You can hear something.
Can you hear me?
I hear you absolutely loud and clear, my man.
Excellent. Let me plug in my headphones and see. Make sure you can still hear me.
Absolutely. Give it a shot.
Right. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
That's it then.
All right. Well, Nick, welcome to this craziness, man. We did not foresee this absolute nuttiness. And typically, you are sitting where Brother Mythos would be sitting. So that's okay. I'm okay with sharing this space with the Nick. So that's awesome. Just gonna go over the chat real quick because everybody's pretty excited to see you on here. Let's see here. Brother Archer. Let's see here. I did a couple of HQs for the alternate. Okay, he already covered that. Running Bear says doing work for a friend. 3 start boxes of Nurgle. Demon's so tired of putting them together. I tell you what, assembly is not the greatest, especially when you're doing a commission job. I'm not a huge fan. So, but you know, pays you a couple of bucks to do it. You know, it's what my favorite part is the painting. That's most definitely the biggest thing. What else? Be back when the power comes up. That is Brother Roxas. Archer says also working on kit bashing a Primaris Gabriel Seth while I'm listening and watching the stream. Well, man, I hope you can get something out of this. I'm so sorry that it kind of got a little wonky, but I'm glad that you're sticking it out and you're able to do some hobbying. Hey, you're using some of your daytime job skills. Yeah, exactly. This is the kind of stuff that I do on a daily basis, working for IT. Yeah. Mr. Help Desk himself. Running Bear, Night of the Gremlins. Yeah. Definitely one of the nights full of gremlins. This is Murphy's Law at its best. And Atomic Scale, Model Freak, Elevator Music. I hate dead air. I really do. I think moving forward, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to program, you know, probably like in the background where we have technical difficulties, and I'll have a technical difficulty splash screen. And boom, Necron Nick. And guys, let's give it up for Brother Nick.
Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're still with us. It is 5 to 4 in the morning.
Jeez.
So yeah, I had my alarm on for 3 o'clock.
I was really shocked when you said, "Hey, I'd like to come and visit you guys on the show." I would have preferred having Mythos here, because I'm kind of out of my element, and I typically just come more so of the support role and not so much the primary. But I'm glad you were able to make it, and I'm glad you were able to make that sacrifice to get up so early. The sun doesn't even come out that early, Nick.
No, I know.
Oh my goodness. So to just tell us what's been going on with Nick. What do you have going on? I caught your last your recent stream.
Yeah, I saw
here,
that.
So
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, basically just changed the scheduling on my channel. I went to 3 days a week, and now I'm going to go to sort of no fixed days to basically try to free me up with my uploads, because it's not so much the pressure of having fixed 3 days, but I found it was restricting me a bit. So if I wanted to put sort of extra videos up, I was unable to do that, where I was like, no, I can't have a video like on a Wednesday, it's got to be a Thursday. So if something new or came out that I wanted to talk about, I sort of wouldn't be able to put it up straight away. So I found it was restricting me. So now I have no schedule. So yeah, you might actually see more uploads from me, although also you may see an occasional skip if I sort of do run out of time. So it just gives me the freedom back. But I had to do the 3 day schedule thing because I needed to slow myself down, because I was literally, I was putting 5 or 6 videos up a week, and upping the quality of the videos that I was trying to achieve as well. Just took any time that I had for actual hobby away, and I've set the task of painting 36 noise marines this year, and I'm trying to paint them all to quite a good level. So to do that, I need time. So that's one reason why I put the 3 days a week schedule on, to slow me down and have more hobby time. And it's been working, actually. Yeah, I've painted an hour a day since January the 1st on the Noise Marines, and they're coming along quite nicely. So I'm quite happy with them, slowly but surely. Yeah.
so you're doing that the deal that you're pushing, where if you paint at least an hour, roughly an hour
Yeah.
a day, correctly, a
Yeah,
minimum
that's
of
it.
an hour a day, then you can get a lot more done than really you trying to push a lot, like 2 or 3 hours into one, and then the next day you kind of fizzle out because you're burnt out.
Yeah, basically, I call it the double one ritual. So it's 1 hour once a day. However, it's got a bit of leeway. So what I do is I've got a calendar, and whenever I do an hour of hobby, I tick the day off. So, for example, I did get a little bit behind. So on Friday, I actually did 6 hours of painting on one day, which was 4 days catch up, and then 2 days in advance, because I knew yesterday I was going to go on YouTube live streaming, no time, and then obviously today I needed to go to bed early. So as we sort of sit here now, I'm totally up to date with painting 1 hour one day. It also means that I've got extra time for other stuff. So, for example, that 1 hour once a day is just for my Noise Marines. So if I want to do other projects, then once I've painted that hour on the Noise Marines for that day, I can then carry on with something else as well. So I may be doing more than 1 hour a day hobby, but I have to do at least that on the Noise Marines every day, or at least the equates to every day.
Right.
And yeah, as I said, it's been working really well, and it's surprising how much you can actually achieve in an hour if you consistently do that hour every day. Yeah.
That's actually really good because basically what you're doing is you're saying, okay, you're locking down a minimum of 1 hour a day, and then if you want to continue on, then you've got that, but you've you fulfilled your obligation to do that 1 hour. But then
Yeah.
if you say, okay, well, I wanna do this other army, then you can put a little more love on that without, okay, I can,
It's like makes it guilt free,
right,
basically. Yeah, yeah. That's how it feels to me. So rather than
yeah,
say if I was working on a Necron model that I might want to do,
right,
I could be working on that thinking, oh my God, I've got those 36 noise marines there, I've got to get them painted. You feel guilty. Whereas, right, I've done my hour, so now I can work on this model. I can spend like all day doing this model if I want, because I've done my allotted 1 hour on those. So it really it gives you progress, allows you to do other things, and it's guilt free.
right.
And as I said, I've been doing it since the 1st of January, which is however many days. I think it's about 220 days, is it? Something like no, 100? I have no idea. I'm
I
not
can,
very good at maths, especially at four
I can't
o'clock in the
math.
morning.
Yeah, I can't math. Yeah, I'm good.
But basically, yeah, I've done a lot of painting. And if you paint an hour a day, that's 365 hours of painting a year. So even if you only did an hour a day, bearing in mind it doesn't have to be an hour every day. That's the beauty of the system. I could paint 2 hours one day and the next day not paint. So if you have, say, on a Friday night, you can always go out with your friends down to the pub. You no time to paint. Well, you could either make up for it and paint 2 hours on the Saturday or maybe 2 hours on the Friday, or like I do occasionally, is if I get behind on my day off, I might sit down and have a big painting session, paint 4 or 5 hours, and make up or get myself ahead of time.
So
So
basically, you kind of allot that time based on a week, right? So you're saying,
yeah, I
okay,
suppose ultimately
okay,
it's like 7 hours
excellent.
a week, isn't it? So you can split it however you like, as long as you do the equivalent of an hour. Yeah.
Do you have something to track yourself? I mean, or you keep it in
Yeah,
your head, or
I've got a calendar, and whenever I paint an hour, and once I've painted, as soon as I've painted for an hour, I get up and I tick it off, and then if I carry on painting, I'll just make a note. Sometimes it will be, well, I painted for an hour, but I think I'll do a bit more.
Mhm.
I might do another 15 minutes. I go to the calendar on the next day and I write 15, so that the next day I only have to paint 45 minutes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's really, really working.
yeah, that's actually really good time management. That's something that I think I'll have to start implementing because I get a lot going on, between working, trying to get the tech right and trying to get all this stuff. And okay, I'll be honest with you, I have not picked up a brush for probably about 2 months now, going on 2 months now. It just got burnt out. I pick it up and I was like, okay, I'm done. I did a huge commission on those salamanders, and they just wore me out. I was so burnt out. I'm like, okay, I and I just could not get myself motivated.
Mm,
I just picked up a model yesterday. I was doing a little assembly, and I was like, okay, this is relaxing. I can do this. Let's get back in it, and I'm actually starting to get excited again. But I think
mm.
just the idea to block out that little bit of time, which is not a
Yeah,
lot, an hour
no.
really. That's really
Well, the other thing as well is you could reduce that and say, well, my task is going to be half an hour a day. So you could start with half an hour a day. That's your task.
right.
So you could then ease yourself into it,
Yeah,
and
that's a
then
good point. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So half an hour a day. That's my plan. And even in half an hour, you do that for 2 or 3 weeks, and you will see progress. And the more progress you see, you think, well, actually, I'm going to carry on. What I've also noticed painting the noise marines, obviously 36 guys is a big task.
Right.
And it's almost like each layer is almost like a whole project in itself. So, for example, I've painted the silver.
Mhm.
I'm highlighting at the moment, and I did 2 edge highlights on the silver. And I don't know exactly how many hours it took me, but it was a good amount of
Mhm.
hours. And when I'd finished the silver, I felt almost like I'd finished a project. What I would normally do if I finished a project is I'd have So I'll have a break before I start another project. So I might have a 2 or 3 day break. Well, I couldn't do that with this. I had to literally finish that, and then the next day I had to. Well, actually, I've got to start highlighting the gold now. And I had to get crack on basically. So it really does sort of motivate you to keep going. And it's not that I'm low on motivation. It's just that I have a lot of stuff to do. I am a single dad, and obviously I run a YouTube channel, work full time, and it's just having that time. And I've noticed now my daughter is older, she goes to bed later. So, a couple of years ago, she used to be in bed 7, half 7, 8 o'clock. Now she goes to bed about 8:30. To be fair, by the time she's in bed asleep, it's like 10 o'clock. You get the day to yourself after you've been at work. You sit down at 10 o'clock, you think, what am I going to do? I'll watch something, don't you? You just sit there, I'll have a cup of coffee, a snack, and I'll veg out for a couple of hours before I go to bed. And I was getting into that habit. So now I will paint instead, or at least I'll do an hour of painting. Then at 11 o'clock, I could then say, right, well, I've done my hour. Now I might veg out and watch something.
That's actually a really good way of time management, because again, that's kind of the same thing. The nice thing is that, but prior to this whole thing, when I first started in the hobby, I was working just all odd hours of the day sometimes, and it was working with ATMs. It was just very, very difficult at the time, dealing with not knowing if I'm going to get called out. And it was just really stressful. Now it's like, finally got the dream job. I'm loving it. It's from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Fridays. Got my weekends off, so I have no excuse. It's just coming out of that mindset, and of course during that whole time I've been working on these salamanders, and I'm not going to use that excuse, but that's what kind of I felt like burnt me out, and now I want to get back into it, and I think what you're describing is exactly what I need, because consistency is one of my biggest things that I have to have. I have to have consistency. The thing is, if there's a kink in my consistency in that train, it derails everything. It's just the way I'm built. My mindset, I'm with my ADHD, if I can be consistent on something, but all it takes is one that's it.
Yeah.
And it's, oh well, there's my model sitting there. Maybe I should paint him. Maybe I should watch TV, So it's kind of, you just not really motivated much, but I'm getting that, that fire back, and I'm ready to start hitting it. But putting at least a minimum of 30 minutes, like you said, start small.
Yeah, definitely, I would.
Yeah. 30 minutes a day, and then hey, being brave, let's crank it up a little bit more if need to. But at least I'll start seeing some progress on my box of gray.
Especially if you've got your stuff set up already. If your paint station's like set up. So, because obviously some, and I got comments saying, well, because I basically don't have a hobby room.
Mm-hmm.
My hobby's done on an old Games Workshop workstation, one of the wooden ones, and I'm hobby in the front room. So when I hobby, I literally just bring that into this room, turn my light on, and I'm there ready to go. I've got a wet palette, so the paint's ready to go. Occasionally, it takes me a few minutes to find a paint, because I'd love to have a paint rack. So yeah, sometimes it's a bit frustrating trying to locate a particular paint. But if you have your paint set up and your paint station there ready to go, it makes life a lot easier. If it does take you 10 minutes to get set up, well, that's 10 minutes of hobby that you've just wasted. But if you can go into a room, sit down, and you're there almost starting straight away, you can just get so much done, even if just half an hour. It'll be a big difference. You definitely should try it.
I have shame. I have total shame, complete shame. I mean, let me just move aside so you can kind of see.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
So, yeah, I've got all the racks, and I've got my stuff set up, and my paintbrushes, and a nice little caddy. I've all my brushes.
It
down
looks
here.
very nice. Yeah, it looks nice.
It's great.
You've even got the light on, ready to hobby.
I know, right? Maybe one day I'll just get back there and start painting. That's my life. So yeah, so that's kind of my situation. But I'm gonna try that out, and I'm definitely gonna have to give you an update on how I'm doing on that, because that's just that's always been an issue for me. You know, it's that consistency, and I'm pretty much ready to get back. So there's a lot that I want to get done. There's a lot that I want to bring on a table on our next game. You know, I've got a Leviathan that has been sitting there in my box, and I'm really wanted to get it put together. My Sicarian,
Sicarian, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the tank, and I want to get that.
Necrons.
Yeah, we got to get this. By the way, guys, if you're just joining us, we have the amazing Nick, the very Necron himself, here from IDICBeer Warhammer 40K. He's joining us tonight. He is sacrificing his sleep. Real man, a man's man. I mean, oh my gosh. So anyway, thank you so much for taking the time and coming to join us. He reached out.
My pleasure. When I saw obviously you guys were doing the live streams, I thought I want to be there, hang out with you guys. Obviously, Mythos let us down, didn't he? Well, he's going to be gutted, isn't he? He's going to be absolutely gutted.
He is. Okay, so he and I have this thing, right? So okay, all right. You probably heard me rant. Are we whispering and having a private conversation? Yeah, we're having a private conversation. Mythos doesn't know about this, right? Okay. So here's the situation, right? He knows of our Luck. Lady Luck loves Mythos typically. Okay, but here's how it works. If he has absolutely amazing luck during the week, I'm ready to play him because he's going to have the worst luck at the table. It always happens. I said, but you know what? Are you sure you want to play me? Yeah. Trashed, you know? All right. For me, though, typically, my luck is not that great. I've actually called him yelling at the top of my voice, like shrills. Look at this. Oh, my God. Freaking 4 1s? Who rolls 4 1s? Who does that? And I'm yelling and I'm freaking out. And he's like, Ethos, just calm down. It's okay. You got this. I'm calling him back and I'm sending him, screenshots of. And here's okay, because I'll take, I'm Space Marines, right? So I'm taking all these bolter shots, and here I've got my, not my Hellbout, my, oh my gosh, my aggressors, and I'm just pounding, 18 shots of aggressive bolters, right? And no, 36 of aggressive bolters, just showering them. How is it possible? How is it? And I took a picture. By the way, I think Brother Atlas is still on the chat, and if he is, say something, because, but yeah, he saw it, and I looked at it. I said, "You see that, right? You see that? You see that crap? There is nothing higher than a 2. How? How is it possible? How is it possible?" I go to Mythos' place, home field advantage, I guess. And Mythos! Oh my God! Why did you leave me? You freaking dirtbag! Gosh!
You heard our little secret conversation.
Yeah. So you creeping in here, you dirtbag? Get in here! Oh, anyway. So we have this thing. So we have a running joke now that Mythos will go to a restaurant, and this is true. Guys, if y'all know about Mythos, he has the most amazing luck, especially during the week. He can go to any restaurant. Hey, I'd like to be seated, so-and-so. And, oh, hold on. Let me see if we can make this happen. Bear with me, guys. Wolf Brother Mythos is in the house, I hope. Mythos, don't do this to me, bro. Anyway, we'll still continue to chat. So anyway, so he'll go to a restaurant and he'll have an amazing time. He'll have an amazing dinner. Okay, great meal. And out of nowhere, the waitress will say, "Oh, here's some pie." What? Free cake? You get free pie or cake. And this doesn't happen to him once. It happens to him a lot. And I'm like, okay, once, twice, I'd say, okay, that's a coincidence. 4, 5 times every time he goes. So, and it happens every time. So the running joke is, if I would do that, and I say, hey, like I finished my meal, I'd like to order pie. Okay. I would get thrown out of the restaurant. Then I would get charged for dining and dashing. Then I'd get tased and beaten, okay, while the cop is yelling, "Stop resisting." Then they'll throw me in the back of the car, but doing so, they'll smash my head up against the door frame. I'm knocked out, okay? I get thrown in jail, right? And all of this, because my luck sucks. Freaking sucks. And Mythos is like, oh, getting all fat and sassy with all his pie, you know? It's like, yeah. So yeah, that's what we live with on a daily basis. Mythos got amazing luck. Today, tonight he's rolling ones. You notice that, Nick? He's rolling ones tonight.
I played Munchkin earlier with a few buddies. Only my second game with it. The first time I didn't actually like it, I must be honest.
Yeah.
But the second one, I did enjoy it a little bit more. I think it's one of those games that it seems really complicated when you first start.
Right.
But then once you get the hang of it, it actually then, it becomes quite easy, doesn't it? So have you ever played it, Munchkin?
I have not. No, I have not.
No,
I heard
okay.
a lot about it, though.
Yeah. So I managed to win, so that was good.
See, okay, all right. And I'm just going to say it, too. Between you and Mythos, the two of y'all have the most amazing luck about winning just about every daggone thing. Hold on, let me go back to this. Come on, Mythos. Make up your mind, bro. I think he's trying to get back on. Just so you know, Centerpoint is now saying it'll be 12:43. Is that... He's trying to get on now. Roxas, I'm not sure what's going on. He's been trying to get on. I don't know if his power is on at all or not.
He's just desperate, isn't he? Desperate.
Oh, he's clawing. Oh, you know what? I would be surprised if he's like running around outside, trying to find somebody's power, source. Like, oh, I gotta borrow this. I gotta get on. Why, Nick? Oh, he says he does have power. Oh, okay. Atlas, there he is. He says it. I can vouch for him. LOL. So yeah, so he actually he saw those. He said, I'm just struggling with the program. Running Bear says you may now enter in Mythos. Okay. So he's trying to get on. He's trying to. I think he's having a similar issue with what you were having there. So we're going to give him a few minutes. Let's see if we can get...
So regarding bad dice rolls, I've got some really good advice for you. I can instantly solve your bad dice rolling problem.
Really? Okay. Talk to me, because I need that. I really need that.
Green dice.
Green dice? Like color green dice? Green.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because of the Necron color.
Oh my God. You see? Oh.
They do roll very well, green dice. If I pick up a red dice, a Blood Angel's dice, and I roll it, I always roll a 1. It's true. Try it. Try some green dice. I bet it will change your luck.
It goes against my whole principle, but I may do that. As a matter of fact, it's funny because I was playing a game with Atlas, and he had me roll. He was doing cultists, right? He was playing Chaos and Cultists. And he goes, dude, just use my dice. I said, I'm not touching your dice.
Funny.
All right, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Be like a robot, like a Necron. You hear me?
Yeah,
like a Necron.
It sounds like
you're like a robot.
Yeah, it sounds like It's definitely bandwidth, so bear with me here. See here. Let's hope that it catches up. Let's see if it catches up. All right, did that clear up yet or no?
Not
No.
quite, no.
No,
You're
okay.
a bit laggy as well.
Wow, man, all this technical issue. Testing. Testing one. Testing one. Let's see. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing. Save. What is that? Mythos? Is that you? I can hear something in the background. It's almost like he's having issues there. Yeah. Okay. Nick,
Yeah.
am I sounding any better at all?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Okay. Let's see. All right. I am going to jump out and then jump back in, and I'll try to set this up.
I'll just do it on the takeover when you show them.
Let's see. Testing. Test. Check. All right. I think I know why. Okay. I'm going to leave.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, we can hear you, but it's you're just like a robot. So
I see Mythos trying to get his
So
camera.
I have got the I have got here, thank you. Necrons. I've had one read of everything. So I was talking about amongst myself. No one else is going to join me on this chat.
Let's see. Let me clean this up real quick. Hold on here. More people. Why is it showing? Seconds. Okay, bear with me here. Oh, gotta be kidding me. Okay. Oh, I see what's happening.
Oh,
There we go. That's everything.
that's everything.
Ethos, say something.
What is up, beautiful people?
Oh, thank God. Nick? Oh.
Oh.
Now what happened? Okay, this is great. About to lose my mind. So Mythos, I can hear you. You can hear me. I don't think Nick can hear me.
You can hear.
No sound.
No.
The ones continue to roll.
All right, let me close it. Let me bring it back up. I'm going to bring it to a larger room. See, maybe that might help it. I don't get it. Nick? Nick? You cannot hear us? Oh man. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Maybe I should leave.
No. Okay, and my whole thing is totally jacked up, dude. This is okay. Let me go back to change this. Oh right. Okay.
Hello to everyone in the chat who's saying hi to me.
Yeah, everybody's trying to say hi.
Oh yeah, so Brian, brother Brian's having this.
There we are. Okay, we're back.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry about all the
We are
mishaps tonight.
so sorry, guys.
It's funny because now that Nick is gone, it's one circle is showing your lower jaw and the other one is showing your forehead.
Yeah, I just changed it. Everything I had to change it up. So
I don't understand what's going on tonight.
it's just been a. Oh, he's trying to join now. Let's see. Nick?
Hello, Nick. Oh no!
Oh my god!
Now he's even more silent than before.
Oh, okay. Let's see if we can help Nick. Okay.
You haven't muted participant, have you?
Are you getting no sound from us at all? Question mark. No sound or mic. Okay. So he says no sound or mic. Why is he not getting anything? Nothing. Okay. Don't understand. I'm gonna tell him to take out his headphones. Take off headphones.
And then his shirt.
Mythos says your shirt too. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Okay, so okay, he took the headset off. Nick, okay, let me see if I'm gonna tell him to share. Can you share your screen?
Time to show everyone a peek behind the curtains.
Yep.
We're the Wizard of Oz on the show.
Bottom says, oh, he's gone. He's like, I ain't sharing crap. I ain't sharing nothing with y'all. Y'all don't know my life. I'm just curious because I'm going to see if I can help him. Now, the crazy thing is that right before you came on, everything was like really, you know what? Let me do this here.
Here.
And you can hear me.
Hear?
No, that's just me. I think you're hearing me feedback in. Pressed it. Okay. Let's see. I don't understand what's going on here.
Oh man.
This would happen, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Refresh the page. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bump it, and if we can get back in, okay? Nick? So Nick is going to be doing the mime stuff, right? Gosh. Amithos, you can hear me just fine?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Have you had him share a screen yet?
He tried. Apparently, he hit the button and nothing happened.
Maybe trying the cam mic button at the top.
Try the cam mic button. The one that says cam and mic.
Because I had to go in and manually pick my microphone.
You can make sure to see if that's engaged properly or not.
Make
Okay, if that doesn't work, go back to right-clicking on the speaker and going to sounds. Yeah, before we were having the same problems you were having earlier when you first came on.
right click.
Come on. I'm wondering if it may. Well, I'm not sure if it's a bandwidth issue.
Hey, did you switch all this to the bumper?
No, is it on the bumper now?
No, I thought you had said you were going to. I just noticed that it's still.
No. This is going live because at least they're actually chatting together. Yeah.
Chatting together.
This is my typical nightmare here, man. Okay, so let's see what he has. Okay, he has his camera, default microphone, default speaker, headphones. Everything is set right. Okay. What's he say? And he's already restarted his browser.
Here.
Okay, so something hosed up his audio card. Okay, something messed up your audio drivers. All right, Nick, you can try just doing a quick reboot, and that should resolve your issue.
Oh man, I feel so guilty for getting the man up at 3 a.m. to.
Well, we had a nice chat prior to that, so I mean,
that's good.
I know this is totally Murphy's Law, bro. So he's gonna So he's going to give that a shot. We'll let him do that. We'll give him a few minutes to kind of reboot. So why don't you go ahead and if you want to address the group, man, because you've been out for a little bit.
Well, I did thank everyone who welcomed me back, which is awesome. I do agree with Brian. I must have broke stuff by coming in, so maybe Nick should leave. Maybe I should leave. Oh man, the biggest guest we've ever had on the show, and we fumble the whole thing. That's awesome. I tell you, real professional lads here.
And you know, you got to understand how I feel. I mean, I'm the tech guy, and I just feel like everything just.
Roxas is right. Answers always turn it off, turn it back on again.
Yep.
Inquisitor Zane, I don't know if we've met before, but it's good to have you in the chat, my man.
Yeah, he's been pretty heresy. It's a sabotage. It's heresy. Oh my gosh.
So what have we covered so far?
All right. So far we've covered. We've of course we did Chaplain Emo. We got all that out of the way. We did the Art of the Week. Oh, I did share our brother Clay. I did share his amazing work on the salamanders, and it was so funny because as I flipped it back after navigating through the page, Clay actually got on there and he goes, "Who painted that crap?" Like, and I started getting offended. Like, who is this cat trying to throw shade at this brother? I'm like, oh wait, oh my God, it's him. it's like, I said, don't do that, man.
You're about to buck up and defend him.
Yeah, I'm like
from himself.
Man, who are you? Who is this cat throwing shade at brother Clay? Man,
who is this?
Who is
what
this?
Is your quarrel?
Yeah, come at me, bro. And Clay, he was like, LOL, like, oh, touche, brother, touche. And it is a server reboot, if more than once. Yeah, because that's fun. Oh man. Oh, okay. Let's see how he's doing. He's trying to make an attempt to come back on. Come on, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Nick.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
Right. Yes, I did. I restarted the computer, and the little speaker thing came back on. So.
Okay. Welcome back.
Right, let me plug these in again before I wake the neighbours up.
Oh, so beautiful to hear your lovely voice.
There you go. We're back.
Oh, I'm so sorry to wake you up so early for all these technical problems.
No problem at all.
only for Mythos and Freak. It's just, does that happen anywhere else?
You know what? I tried letting you fix it your way, Freak. I really should have just lit some incense and said a few prayers to the Omnissiah.
Right? Yeah, but you left it to me. You left me. Don't you give me that crap. You left me. You're like, okay. And it was so final. I will never forget you, Freak. And it just
That's
goes
right,
off.
Crazy Omnissiah.
Dirty. Dirty. That's what you are. Freaking dirty.
All right, my brother. So you were in the middle of covering the FAQ, or?
Well, we were actually just kind of chatting with Nick, until I started sounding like a Necron. He got excited. Don't go there, Nick. He was like, sound like a Necron. And all I was hearing is, you sound like, I heard that. I picked up what you said, Nick. You sound like a Necron. Like, oh. And every now and then, he'll just, like he has Tourette's, Necron! He'll just start doing that crap.
Yeah, it's got to be done.
so anyway, we got to chatting actually about his last video, his stream actually on
the end of the road.
The end of the road, right? And also talking about something that I really need to start implementing is more on the time management deal, since because remember, Nick was doing 5 videos a week,
right.
And I know most of that, Nick, right? You were doing a lot of that just to kind of pre-post, right? Because you had everything scheduled way in advance.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And so now now you've got this amazing. Look, Nick, I love your multiple camera angles. And your work is looking so good. So I can imagine you're putting a
Okay.
lot more TLC on your editing, which is going to
Yeah.
take a lot more time.
Yeah.
So now you're bringing it down to three videos a week, so you can be able to put more love into your into the editing, but also still allow more time in between that. Is that about right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm spending the same amount of time, I would say, on making videos. Before I was doing the editing, though, I was able to make like 2 or 3 videos in one session. I was just using Windows Movie Maker, just drop the clips in, couple of cuts, and then it's done. Was now in one session. When I'm talking about session, I'm talking about the day effectively. Now I'm making one. So yesterday was my day off. I started making a video at 9 o'clock and I finished at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's
And
a whole
then,
work day.
yeah, that's basically a whole day, yeah, for one video. And that doesn't include doing making the thumbnail and doing the tags and titles and all the other stuff. So yeah, but the end results, as you say, hopefully have been improving. So yeah.
But the camera angles are amazing, and as a tech, I always like, wait a minute, how is he? And then you got your fade in and you're out. Very clever, very clever.
I did a new thing today, which I'm very happy with. It's for next Thursday's video, and I've done some outside footage as well. So I've gone back to doing a bit of that. And I've got a very nice little transition that I've done in camera, which looks super cool. So hopefully everyone would like it. It's those little things. I tried to add one new thing to each video that I've never tried before.
I think at some point you're going to try to push more towards the what do you call it, the teleportation thing, like when you beam in, beam out. It would not surprise me if you actually had the spinning vortex, and then you completely disintegrate into atomic pieces.
Yeah,
Although
you
he
never
does
know
have
one day.
older videos where he did do some teleporting.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
what I can say is, once you've had 2 cameras, it's very hard to go back to one camera. The only video now that I do with one camera is the Q&A, apart from obviously a live stream. But yeah, I'll start a video and think, I'm just going to do one camera, and then no, this is just not right. I'll just run the other one just in case. The great thing, what I've noticed is, my videos have got, I think, more interesting because of the second camera, but not because of what you think. Actually, I've got more B-roll with the second camera, because previously with the one camera, I would record a clip, like a sentence or whatever I'm going to say, and then I'd stop recording, work out what I'm going to say next, and then turn the recording on, so that I had, so that made the editing easier, because I'd have these clips and I just put the clips together. When I went to the 2 cameras, obviously you have to sync the sound, and just doing it in clips was too much aggro, basically. So what I did, I thought, well, I'll just roll the camera, and then I can sync them, and then obviously I can edit them. It should be easier. So now I roll both cameras, but because I'm rolling the cameras, I get all the outtakes, when I drink my coffee, or, you talk to yourself, don't you, and think, oh, that just wasn't very good, or whatever.
Yeah.
So now I've got a lot more footage, like B-roll footage, that I can add into the videos that I would miss before because of the way that I recorded. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've noticed, is I can make the videos more interesting because I've got just more content there.
I love that B-roll footage stuff.
Yeah, it does add something to it, doesn't it? You've got to be careful not to add too much, though, or say
Right.
too much, too long. Your B-roll's got to be quite quick, because otherwise you'll lose people. They're there for the topic, really, and the B-roll does help keep it interesting, hopefully keep people watching. But if you put too much in there, they'll lose track of what you're saying and switch off. So it's got to be quite quick.
like what the majority of our viewers just did just now.
I was about to say, man,
How many are actually watching us?
I
I
think
haven't got that.
I think us, 3 of
We have
us.
Us three,
we have
okay.
8 now. Yeah.
That's all right then.
We have 8 now.
So real quick, Nethos, we were right before Nick jumped on when I was flying solo, and you left me by myself, by my lonesome, and I started crying. I was going over very fruitlessly the FAQ or the rules changes, but I do have, and it's coincidentally Nick did show me he has his page of the Necron errata. Is that right?
That's awesome.
Necron!
So I do have that queued up as well because I figured he was going to want to go over that. But Mythos, did you want to go over something real quick prior to
Real
jumping
quick,
onto that?
Bernie Bear says it's all working. Don't touch the red button now. Roxas says, I may need to come by Mythos to borrow some power. Come on through, brother. And he says you're going to have to hop back off until the power comes back on. Inquisitor Zane says he's going to have to watch the rest after it ends. Enjoy the stream, though. Atomic Dog Scale Model Freak. Brian says, I like how you make the quick jump cuts to keep viewer attention. Nick, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have a good night, Inquisitor Zane. We appreciate you in the chat tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks for visiting us, man. And don't be a stranger to everybody come around. Nick, I have a question before we jump into that. What made you think about doing the blinds routine?
That was just natural because there was trucks outside. Literally, especially in the summer because you get people mowing their lawn. The next door neighbours out there mowing his lawn in the afternoon. All sorts of things. It's just noisy.
And what's funny is you have such great recording equipment that as viewers, we never hear it, we never know. But you've really turned it into a really great, skit or, for lack of a better word, during your show.
Yeah.
Most of it is actual noises, which I just react to. But occasionally I will put a fake one in there just for, extra purposes. But
did you ever call the law on those 2 characters that were on your lawn?
No.
Those 2 fanboys?
They're probably still out there right now. You do know that, right? They're intense.
Probably, yeah. I was really happy with that. That came out really well, and the build up to it as well.
We have another one planned too whenever we can get together during the day.
Yeah.
The problem is us finding time to get together when there's actually sunlight out.
Let's see what Brian says.
Nick made that a get off my lawn scene.
Yeah, that was great, man.
But obviously you need to, it can get a bit boring if you do the same stuff. So it's trying to come up with the same thing, but with new ideas as well, new things.
And to do that, you've included the community. We've had some pretty great submissions.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've still got a few left, which I haven't used yet, but it's finding the right.
When you first started with Big Mac Dance School, that was awesome. It just caught everybody by surprise.
Well, he sent me those just off his own back. I didn't ask him. He just said, "Hey, I've just recorded these." I was in my truck, and he just emailed them over to me, and then it started from there. Yeah.
What? What are you looking at? He's just yelling out the window. It was just perfect, man. I mean, and everything flowed beautifully. And I said, Nethos, I know what we can do. I think we can do this. So I painted the most horrific. Did you see that shirt?
Oh, yes, I saw it.
I have it hanging in my closet because I wear it. I should have worn it tonight.
He wears it when he comes out of that closet.
So I'm like, I mean, this thing has holes all in it. It was just a dingy, nasty shirt that I've had for so long. I'm like, oh, why do I even have that? Oh, okay. I love Nick. Big heart on there.
It was awesome.
So I'm yelling, hey, look, Nick. Hey, look, there he is. Holes in the armpits. I'm like, oh, that's so disgusting.
It reminds me. I don't know if you've ever seen Doctor Horrible sing along, but Captain Hammer has these a couple fangirls and a big fanboy who like hide outside of his crime scenes and stuff like that, and do the same thing, show the signs and stuff like that. And the dude is like one of those. It's like the kind of dingy T-wash kind of guys. But their thing is, we do the weird stuff. I'm like, yep, that's that kind of fan.
So anyway, all right. Well, shall we get into going back into the GW stuff?
Yep,
right.
Yep.
Well, since Nick has it in his hands, let me click on to. Let me close that. There we are. Here's the Necron Errata updates, ladies and gentlemen.
So before we go into the specifics, Nick, do you feel like your Necrons were greatly impacted by the errata?
The actual army itself, probably not really. I mean, Wraiths got a little bit better. Quantum shielding got a little bit better. But in terms of other armies, where obviously we've had a few nerfs here and there, I think it's obviously going to help the Necrons. But our actual update really, it's not going to have a huge impact.
Okay.
In terms of my army change, not much has happened. But I think in terms of the whole thing, I think it sort of has pushed us up probably a little bit, or at least pushed some of the armies down a little bit.
Awesome.
So I was very happy with what GW had done overall. I think they did a good job. I was very interested to hear what Freak thought of it, because I know there was a bit of saltiness apparently.
Well, I think the only
one in particular that he's salty about.
Yeah, and
right, okay. I had visions of the whole thing that you went.
I started to. I really did. I started. I'm like, okay, you know what? This is going to be a salt fest. But then I read the whole thing and watched a couple of vids. Saw other people covering it. Like, okay, wait a minute, this isn't all bad. Wow, this is actually good. The majority is actually clarifying what should already be, common sense. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, first of all, it's sad that they have to do that, but I get it. I understand, because it keeps people from, using those gray areas as exploits, right?
Wait, are you saying that you, Freak Alicious from the Frost and Fist, got salty before you understood everything?
Shut your mouth. Shut your freaking
It is easy, though, to have that knee-jerk reaction, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, especially if somebody who thrives on consistency, right?
Yeah.
And that's my biggest thing. It's like I'm not a person that is afraid of change. I don't mind change, but you got to let me know that there's a change coming, and a change has to be justified. I'm Mythos knows me. Somebody tells me, okay, we're doing this. Why? Well, because. Who you and your because? I don't do because. I just don't do because.
And that's one reason why I thought you might respond better to this FAQ than opposed to the others. Because one of the things when we did this coverage last time, they did an FAQ, we were upset that they didn't even explain why they hit us with the Nerf bat so hard. But this time, under almost every little section, there's an explanation of why they felt.
Yeah, I'll have to say it's really well done, actually. The reasoning behind it. It's and things like the wobbly models and stuff.
Right.
I mean, it is ridiculous, but there are people out there that do it. It's got to be addressed.
Right.
And so I was impressed with it. And from my point of view, when I first started many years ago, which was 2001, I started, bought the Necron Codex. I had that codex for 10 years. We did have updates. They used to have a chapter-approved book, which used to come out every year, and we used to have updates of the codex and some rules from there. Sometimes the chapter-approved had experimentation rules. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Like beta rules.
Sure. Yeah.
So everything that we see now, it's just. I've noticed that with GW, they'll take old names and they'll bring them back out. It's like rehashed stuff. Different times, though, wasn't it, back then? You had to make a book. You didn't have the internet to update rules and things. But yeah, 10 years I waited for a new Necron Codex. And whilst now it can seem a bit crazy, the amount of updates that we get, I think
Absolutely.
having those updates is pretty awesome, to be fair. And although it can be a pain, and obviously GW do get put down quite a lot, you can really see that they're really trying their best with this edition.
I would agree with that.
I think they are. Yeah.
Excuse me. And that was my thing, because I was really bracing for the chaotic rule changing, and I wasn't sure how. And that's what it was. It's like, okay, guys, here they go again. They're screwing things up. They're not going to. And then I actually took the time to read it. I'm like, okay, I get it. This is actually good. This is the kind of stuff that, apparently we need to see to kind of keep people from taking advantage with some of the gray areas, which is perfect. And then it's good. I get it. The only thing I don't like, and I'm going to just flat out say it right now, the only thing I didn't like, but I can understand and I get it, the bolter discipline. Because originally it was for everything, anything that had the bolter, keyword and rapid fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, hurricane bolters are going to be absolutely amazing. Then it came back like, oh, only for troops.
Yeah. Well, that's why it was a beta rule, though, wasn't it? To test it and get feedback and stuff. And let's put it in a different perspective. Let's say you play your buddy every week, right? You only have one army each, okay? And then your buddy has an army which is really good, has some fantastic rules, and they beat you every week. At least now you don't have to wait 4 years for a new edition to come out for that to change. Now, the way it seems, GW are picking up on those things which are overpowered or abused, etc., and they're correcting it. So you could be in a situation where, okay, it's really bad now, but probably, in a few months, next FAQ, hopefully it will be sorted. It might give you a bit more hope.
Right.
But eventually things will change,
Well, I like the fact that, and see, at first, like I said, I was really bummed the fact that, they're going to just take that slight advantage away, because I'm thinking, here's my thought at going against one of the toughest armies in the universe, which would be Tau or Necrons, just saying.
He's still traumatized from Necrons.
That was a horrible game. I had just started playing, and he goes, "Oh, what you play me?" Oh, and I was shaking his hand after turn 2. Like, okay, that was fun. Who wants to buy my army? And so I, not so much to have an advantage over them, but to actually be able to be competitive. At least comparable to to be able to stand up to it. So I figured, well, this is great having this kind of competitive edge would help me stand up against Tau or Necron or even AdMech, because AdMech can be kind of shooty too. But my point is to be able to finally have that even playing field, to be effective. And when I saw that getting taken away, my first reaction was like, no, no. And so, but after really thinking about it, it made sense. It made sense as an army standpoint. And I guess it made sense in a balance when it comes to balancing too, because
when these things only get highlighted, they're only changed effectively if they're abused. Arguably, I remember the Necrons, that you've got the destroyers, and at one point every army in every tournament had like 2 or 3 units of destroyers. So if you're a Necron player, you're on edge. So what happens if they start seeing this and then they change it? But then I think probably they realise that, maybe the Necrons need that unit to be like that. So I think it's only really if something gets really abused and needs sorting out.
Yeah, and I'm still I still consider myself new to the to the GW scene and how they do things and their patterns. Of course, from what I see is that their patterns of behavior is actually improved, because prior to a 7th edition, they weren't really listening to the community.
We didn't have any interaction before.
Right.
Absolutely nothing. All you had was an email, and obviously at one point they did have phone. You could phone them up, and that's when you could order bits. They could phone them up.
Right.
This arm and that arm. And then that went away, and obviously they got lots of phone calls regarding rules. And I mean, I phoned them myself, to query certain rules over time. Depends who you speak to. They're there with a book, and it's like, oh, we've got this rule. How does that work? And they go, well, just have a look, and they get the codex, read it, and then they come up with their own conclusion. So yeah, it's totally different now, and we do have a lot more interaction. And I think it's a shame in some ways that, from what I've seen, so for example, on this latest community questionnaire that we put out, I've seen in a few Facebook groups where people have sort of shown their answers, and well, ultimately they haven't talked to GW very nicely.
No,
they've been quite rude, and I put all my views across of what I wanted, but I did it all in a nice way.
Right.
Because doing it in I would love to have GW to have their comments enabled on their videos. I watch their video and think, oh, I want to say something. I can't because it's disabled. But you know why they're disabled, because just imagine what their comments would be if they weren't. And it's a shame that we're in that situation.
Well,
yeah, people demand a bigger online presence, and then they give an online presence, and then people just use it to be toxic.
I understand that, but of course, looking at the other side, and I'm not encouraging it, and I'm not justifying it. Again, there's a right way and a wrong way to say things and convey your distaste or your frustration. You can say, hey, I'm not really happy with these rules. I really would like to see something change. I'd like, have a discourse, have a conversation. But unfortunately, some people are very reactive, and they're more on the attack, and they go to more of a personal, attack rather than, having that discourse, right? But seeing where they came from, I can understand. I'm not justifying, but I can definitely understand why it's gotten to that point, because for so long GW has not been listening to the community. They basically have turned a complete deaf ear to the community, and now it's almost like it's like community constipation. They're just now able to let it all out, but not justified, not the right way to do it, and it's I don't care who you are, regardless of whether you agree with that other individual or that company or that business or the establishment or whatever, it does not justify you being a jerk, So
yeah,
I get
but
it.
do you really think if they get the questionnaire back, and someone's trying to put their views across in a nice way, or if they're doing it in a nasty way, which views do you think they're going to, they're just going to disregard some people, aren't they?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're going to look at that and think, yeah, well, forget that.
Yeah.
But that's what I think anyway. That if I was reading all of them, and there was somebody on there, putting all these like nasty comments in there, you would just ignore it.
I mean, they're not going to pay a moderator to go through every one of those and have to weed everyone out. It's just not worth it. And why even bother with that? It's easier to just say, you know what, let's just block it completely out. We'll phase out any potential trolling or harassment, and let's just do what we feel.
I think he meant the community surveys.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, but my point, the community surveys and of course they put out these videos as well. So my point is that, regardless, I know that there's some nasty people out there, and I know
there is everything. I mean, I put out my live stream video a week ago saying I'm going to go live. I put it up, and I instantly got a dislike.
I saw that. Yeah,
that's just from the title of my video. So there's always going to be people there, aren't there, that hates to hate, as such. But yeah, ultimately, if you want something done, there's a way about doing it, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Mythos, did you want to go over the chat real quick?
Oh, Elston Nation is in the house. Hello, Elston Nation, my man. Did we do the
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not
Ooh,
yet.
can we squeeze that in while he's here?
Okay.
33 Clay Dog says, fully agree, Al really accept me that took it off vehicles. I understood that hurricane bolters were kind of a stretch. I had a feeling that was going to get hit with the Nerf bat at some point. And even then, even though it's a lot of shots, I honestly have never had a lot of faith in Strength 4 AP0. So, I mean, it's like, we're giving them more cotton balls to hit them with, so I don't know. I don't really felt like it, especially, I didn't think it was a really necessary nerf. I really felt like, though, it made the storm bolters on rhinos and razorbacks useful. I kind of regret that, like, the transports lost it. What I really didn't think it was necessary for was taking it away from Death Watch. I felt like you were nerfing somebody who was like, it's like pushing over a kid, right? I mean, you stopped that kid, but did you really need a lot to stop that kid before? Probably not. I mean, because it's like, who? I want to know who has seen. Everybody said it made Death Watch so powerful. If you could find me a tournament list where Death Watch came in the top 5, please let me know, because I feel like they nerfed him for really no reason. But anyways. So, yeah, I kind of agree with those things, Clay Dog, my man. Clay Dog, I am painting the horns on this backpack, and I love the way your elephant horns came out on the tusks of your Lord of the Rings. I'd like to know how you did those tusk effects, my man.
Oh, I was raving like crazy over his salamanders. Oh, my gosh, just gorgeous work, man.
Yes.
So.
All right. Elston Nation, I don't know if you remember, but our brother Archer started something when you were in the chat a few weeks ago. He started making Chuck Norris jokes about Elston Nation. We are on now week number 2 of 100% true Elston Nation facts.
By the way, these are absolutely 100% factual bits of information
of course,
that we were able to get. And you know what? It has a lot of really loyal Marines have perished getting this information. And by the way, Nick, I don't know if have you even got a chance to check out our other character, Chaplain Emo?
You'll have to introduce him at some point.
We'll have to introduce you to
him.
him.
No, I'm not sure what that is.
Okay, yeah. You may lose brain cells after
He's a new member of our live stream that started last week.
Yeah, he's chaplains are more the encouragement, but we'll cover that later. So let's go through this real quick.
I do see your live streams come up in my feed. Obviously, I'm asleep when they go live.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then I see them the next day, and it's like a 3-hour one, and it's like I'm at work. So it's like, I'd love to watch it, but I just don't have time. So I do skip them, I'm afraid. Sorry about that.
That's okay. You know what? If you don't mind, Mythos, I like to hit them both up again because there's some people who haven't seen it.
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to run through it, guys, real quick. Again, let's
start with Elston Nation.
That's Elston Nation. All right, guys, here we go. So again, these are 100% true facts of Elston Nation. Bear with us here. All right, so I'm going to read this. Sorry for the thing here, guys. 100% true Elston Nation fun facts. Infinity is a game and range of models named after the number of minis Elston Nation can paint in one sitting.
It's a true story.
True story. That is
a true story.
Very, very factual. And guys, there's no questioning that that fact. You're not gonna no.
Hey guys, that was 100% true Elston Nation fact number 2. So number 1 was last week. You can check that out, and next week you can join us for 100% true Elston Nation fact number 3.
Okay, so those of you who did not catch Chaplain Emo's word of encouragement for today, you're intrigued, and we're going to do this because we've had some glitchy issues, and we want to it's a treat. We want to go ahead and make sure that if you missed it, you'll get to see him again. Again, we rely wholeheartedly on Chaplain Emo to give us the encouragement word of the day. As a chaplain, it is his job to give his troops encouragement, enlightenment, empowerment, right? And this is all from the emperor all the way down, and just restoring the faith of these troops, right? So, as always, we're going to go ahead and hand it to Chaplain Emo. So this is who he is first. Let's take a look at it.
When you're going into battle and you don't know how to feel, just count on Chaplain Emo and his joy will make you squeal. So when the world is again, you want to scream up, just listen to the words of Chaplain Emo.
Okay. So again, a very cheery fellow. And Mythos, what should we ask of Chaplain Emo tonight?
Well, we wanted to check in and see how our spiritual leader is feeling. After all, a chaplain, being a religious leader, has to feel it. It's got to come from the heart. If it's not in a chaplain, then how can the rest of us feel the emperor's light, right?
Totally agree. It's got to come from within and without, right? So it's got to come from the emperor through the chaplain and then outward. So, Chaplain, how are you doing? Oh, there he is.
Every time people ask me if I'm okay, it's just a reminder that I am not.
Okay, well, that was
Okay, so we have the word for the week.
yeah.
It's only awkward if we let it be awkward. So back to the news.
Did it just get awkward?
No. It's only awkward if we let it be awkward.
Oh, okay. I'm still
Not awkward at all.
It's just still grasping what just happened.
So there is our weekly word of encouragement. Back to the news.
Okay. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we'll have to share that with you, Nick, so you can see it.
Okay.
Because what they're seeing live, you're not seeing because we're on a different stream.
Yeah.
But so here's what I like to do, Nick, if you don't mind. I'd like you to take the lead on this, since you already have the Necron errata, right?
Yeah.
I'll let you guide me. And I have the I have the actual PDF ready to go. So all I need you to do is just tell me where you're going, and we'll go and highlight it for the guys at home that that they can watch what's going on.
So like I said, there's not really too many changes for the Necrons. The first page, 95, the first one in magenta, basically affecting wraiths. So ultimately now we can charge over models effectively through units. So that was taken away from us in the previous update. So we've got that back effectively. Bearing in mind, wraiths aren't fly models.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who get a bit confused because they are able to fall back and assault, and they're able to ignore terrain when they move, except they're almost like a fly unit, but they don't have the fly keyword. So it's also clarified in the main rule book that they have to measure when they go up and down. Mm-hmm. So they can freely go up and down, ignoring terrain. So through buildings upwards, but they have to measure across and up.
And I thought that was a weird, how some people were playing that was kind of weird anyways. If it's like from the sky, if you look at it overhead, you need a 2-inch charge. But if you look at the size of the building, they need a 7-inch charge. I always thought that was kind of a weird ruling that they would go with the shorter charge.
I think ultimately what they should do is just give race fly.
Yeah. I think
it'd be so much easier if they just had the fly special rule. But
it's so similar that they might as well.
Yeah. So that's the first update really. Obviously they've added in the buildings thing. I don't use any terrain that has the buildings keyword anyway, so that's not
I
really
don't
going to
know
affect
anyone
me.
who does, honestly.
No. So that's basically the wraiths.
Okay.
Not much change.
Now it's got to be handy now that you can charge at somebody behind something. Being able to charge through a screen if somebody lays out a bunch of.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it more for charging through my own models as well. So if you had, say, scarabs, like bubble wrapping your wraiths, now you can charge over your scarabs. Whereas before you couldn't, you had to make a hole for them to get through. So
Makes sense to
yeah, I
me.
mean it's better. Yeah. So next up will be the page 110 one, which is basically using the stratagems, emergency invasion beams. The following a sentence. Unit setup with the stratagems can be set up during the first battle round, even if you are using the tactical reserves match play rule. So obviously this is basically an update to the way they confirmed everything with tactical reserves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't tend to use this much, but potentially, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure how this is going to affect anything because I don't use this particular stratagem, so I've not really looked into it too much.
Makes sense to me.
Does anyone know anything about that? Anyone in the comments?
Here, let's switch
Can
over
it-
here. Let's see.
Okay, so Elst Nation says that the Infinity Company is like a bit like the Infinity Gauntlet. That's awesome. Running Bear says, yeah, he makes me feel like I can run through a brick wall. I'm going to assume that's Chaplain Emo.
Chaplain.
Brian says, Emo is your 40K version of Eeyore. You have Darby, Fire Breathing Duck in the house. He says, hi, amazing people. Hello, my brother. And Running Bear says they still need the room to land, so proper screening and miniature placement is big. I assume we're talking about the wraiths there. No word on the stratagem, though.
No. Okay. I don't think many people will really use emergency evasion beams anyway.
I'm going to be honest with you. As many battle reports as I watch, I don't think I've ever seen it used one time.
No. Yeah. I think I used it once. That was just like trying it out. But from what I've seen, like in Necron Facebook groups and stuff, it's not really a major impact of any description. And then that's literally the two erratas, and then straight into the FAQs.
There wasn't a whole lot changing there. I mean, they really kind of kept that one clean, didn't they?
Yeah. And to be fair, that stratagems change, I believe, is only a change because of the way they've changed the reserves rules. Just like impacted on that.
Right.
So the FAQ, they've just confirmed that with quantum deflection stratagem, which you play that and it gives you -1 to your dice roll when you're saving quantum shielding.
Mm-hmm.
They've now confirmed that. So basically, you ignore the tax of damage with the characteristics of 1. So effectively, you can negate all damage with the stratagem.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Then there's just a question somebody, for some reasons, asked about death marks when they do their defined ethereal interception. Are they able to come down and then shoot at more than the one target that's just come in from reserve? Which obviously you wouldn't be able to do, but they've just confirmed it. So basically, death marks have the ability to come in after someone deep strikes and then shoot them straight away. So somebody's asked, if somebody comes in from deep strike and the death marks come in, can you split fire, shoot one guy at the unit which has just come down and shoot the rest of the guns at other units for some reason, which obviously shouldn't really be a question, but somebody's asked it and it's just confirmed that you can't.
Yeah, and then sometimes you ask these questions.
Yeah, and then the last question is, Our unit set up on the tomb world using the evasion beams and eternity gate abilities considered to be on the battlefield for the purposes of tactical reserves. For match play rules, no, they do not count as being set up on the battlefield and are considered to be reinforcements for the purposes of tactical reserves. So again, it's just an update on the rules for tactical reserves. And that's literally all we got. So the major thing there is really the wraiths.
Mm-hmm.
And they've pretty much gone back to what they were, which I've noticed that actually with the points as well. So for the pylon, so the pylon in the previous big FAQ, not the one just gone, the one before that, went up in points. I think it was 475, and it went up to 550, and everyone stopped using it. And then in the next time they updated it, they put it back down in points.
Man, that's I didn't realize they were so expensive.
That's a major hike. Yeah.
Yeah, for the big gauze pylon. Yeah, I think it's 475. I think it was, and it went up to 550.
Oh my gosh.
It's more than most knights.
Yeah, it can do a lot of damage though.
As we saw with some of your battle reports using the pylons.
Yeah.
Nasty.
That's it. That's all I got for you. So nothing really, basically.
Still strong. They're still powerful. They still kick butt. Hey, enough said, right? Mic drop.
To be fair, I love playing my Necrons against Marines because, admittedly, I've not played Gilliman and some of the nasty combos which are available in Space Marines. But as soon as I see a Space Marine, for me, it's like easy pickings for Necrons.
Yeah, that's what it feels playing against Necrons.
Yeah, I kind of felt that, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the Necrons can cope with Marines quite well. Whereas if some armies that I play against, let's say Orcs, for example, I can deal with Orcs, but I've got to have the right weapons to deal with them. So it's harder as to take an all-comers list that can deal with mass, orcs and then Imperial Knights or whatever. It's hard to come up with a list that can deal with everything. But definitely, if I see a Marine army, I fancy my chances against them. It probably helps the fact that I've played against Blood Angels pretty much every week for the last 15 years. So I'm quite experienced at playing Marines, even though it's sort of a bit more of an old school army, without all the new Primera stuff. And like I said, I've never actually played against Gilliman, so that might be a different story. But
that poor blood-hatred friend of yours. How do you keep him coming back for a beating week after week? I'd like to interview him.
Right? Well, he's probably crying every time he leaves. I got beat again.
So I can certainly understand your frustration. I can envisage, especially for your first game and you're not so experienced at playing your army. I can envisage your. Yeah, I can, and he probably didn't beat you intentionally so badly. It probably just happened, just because he had the right guns, and it's so easy to roll a 1 and a 2.
No.
On a Marine.
No, he did it intentionally and with feeling. Yeah.
Okay.
I felt every last bit of it. It was personal.
Do you think he was secretly in the background going, Necrons?
Oh, yeah, no. He was going, he's a big guy. I was sitting there and watching my stuff get wiped. I'm like, oh, is this how it's supposed to work? Oh, okay, this is fun. I hope we're having fun, right? This is... And then Mythos comes walking. So, guys, how's the game? Mythos slaps him back. Pop. I'm getting killed. I'm getting killed. He's mopping the floor with me. Anything else?
Is this how it's supposed to go?
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And honestly, I hadn't played a game a good while after that, and Mythos tried to get me to play it. I was just going to the store just to watch more so. Yeah, I was collecting my models, but I really haven't had a big army. And so, yeah, when I got the snot beat out of by the Necrons, I was like, yeah, not bad. Now I don't know. I think let me ask you something, Nick, and this is something that I had it was curiosity more than anything. What would you say? And I know you've played against vanilla Space Marines, but do you think that besides Gilliman, do you think that there's a list that can give you the run for your money when it comes to fighting against base vanilla Space Marines?
Possibly. I mean, the way to obviously I've been playing against Space Wolves recently with Richard, and the Wolven. They are fast. It gets them out of that Storm Fang thing, and they're in my face. And I'm not really an assault army, and if he can get into my ranks, I mean, he just played with that one unit, but I imagine if he had a few units of those, once they're in my face, and if he can tie up several of my shooting units, especially if I have units that don't have the fly special rule, I can take my power away quite quickly. Having that fly rule, like on destroyers, for example, is very handy to be able to fall back and then shoot, because the Necron power really is in the shooting, especially at mid to close range. We're pretty lethal really, especially like I said against something that's just got that 3+ save. If they don't have storm shields, the storm shield is very useful. Now, that game that I played against Richard before, that Storm Shield just took so much. It soaked up the wound so much. So I'd say, yeah, possibly something which basically is more assault orientated. Is one of the biggest ways to
what I would
mess
love
me
to
up.
see is I know that you play Ace Face once in a while, and he's a pretty competitive player. And I think I've seen him recently play a Space Marines army on his Twisted Dice. And I think that would be really great to see a competitive Space Marine player like Ace, actually play against your Necrons to see, because I know that, obviously playing the same Blood Angels army every week is not going to be the same as someone who goes to tournaments and, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
So I'd like to see what Ace does differently against your Necrons that maybe the rest of us are.
Yeah. Well, he'll probably, I would imagine, play for the mission more, I think. Yeah. So my Blood Angels player, he doesn't really think about the mission. He's just there, puts his models down, he has some fun. And we'd be halfway through the game. This is like the old days, even before I videoed the battle reports, Right. We'd be halfway through the game and I'll say, yeah, you're going to win this. Okay. When we're playing like table quarters, so yeah, all you've got to do is move that unit there, that unit there. Right. So come over here, kill this guy, and the game's yours. And you go, oh yeah. And then he'll do it, but he doesn't think about the mission, and I think that's his downfall. And now with 8th edition, it's very much a tactical game, using the right stratagems at the right time, and the way the missions are now trying to be a bit more balanced as possible. It's all about the mission.
He doesn't think. I think that's what it is.
He just doesn't think about the mission, or if he does, he might think about it for a bit, and then he'll get carried away and get lost in the game. So I think that's his biggest downfall. And obviously, I'm all about the mission, So right from the beginning, as soon as I see the objectives down, in my mind, I think, right, by the end of the game, I want to be on that objective. He can have that objective,
You're more strategy minded, and you're thinking ahead, like in a game of chess, while he's just going through the motions and actually trying to fumble his way through. I'm very familiar with this scenario here.
I see some of it as that, but I also see some of them as like some of it is just like he has trouble responding to invulnerable wraiths in his face turn 1, and he's like, oh, but my tanks are useless now.
I think that's the other thing as well. He's not as dedicated to the game, let's say, in terms of time, as I am. So yeah, the rules like catch him off guard sometimes. So yeah, he did put those two Vindicators forward, thinking, right, I'm going to block the Wraiths, and stuff. And of course, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, just assault them, and then he can't shoot. Yeah. So then afterwards, he realised, so oh yeah, I shouldn't have moved them forwards, But that's again, he's almost set in those old rules, purely for the fact that he doesn't have enough time, to do it, or time or inclination to effectively learn all the new stuff. It's like the FAQs have just come out, and I saw him last night. We played Munchkin last night. And I said, oh, yeah, I've got your FAQ printed out. And he goes, oh, I've just made a new army list. He goes, I won't look at it. Let's just play one game with my new list. and then we'll have a look at it. I haven't looked at the Blood Angels FAQ to see if there's any differences. But I have printed it out for him. So, yeah. But I've told him about Smash Captains and everything, but he hasn't got that inclination to do it, I'll turn up with his case. And we'll say, we'll play like 1,500 points. And go, okay, then. And I'll open his case.
I'm going to paint up the Smash Captain and send it to you.
Yeah. And he'll say, oh, yeah, I've got like 5 Terminators. There you go. That's like 400 points or whatever. I'll play that and that, and then that's how he makes his army, So unless he gets time to do, like I said, he's got an army list apparently ready. So I did find that towards the end of 7th edition, he was actually getting quite strong in his lists, and he was using those skimmers, the speeders, and he had 2 units of those, 3 in each, and he was definitely upping his game. And then 8th edition hit, and then it sort of all stopped.
And then 8th edition invalidated our land speeders.
Well, yeah, and also he had massive house renovations, which took, like 6 months. So he was just so busy doing that. So he went a long time without not playing, not looking at the rules. And obviously where I'm basically doing it every day on, YouTube and watching videos and, so obviously my level's gone up and he's not. So I try to make the games as fun as possible, and I'll try to take odd sort of combinations like that last game we had. He phoned me up and he said, I'm on my way round, what should we play? I said, well, you can choose. He goes, 1,200 points. I was okay then. So whilst he was on the way round, I had to quickly make a list. And I thought, well, that's Tomb Spiders, they don't do much. And they're about 100 points each, roughly. So I thought, I'll just take 6 Tomb Spiders. There's half my points gone. And then I thought, well, I'm taking Tomb Spiders. I'll have a couple of units of Scarabs. And then I thought, well, if I'm taking Scarabs, I might as well have Wraiths, because it's sort of, it's the canoptic list. It sort of suits it. So I ended up with a couple of units of Wraiths, and that was my list. I made it up very quickly. I even took an extra Lord just to make me Battle Forged. And when he turned up, he just got these models out, and he wasn't even Battle Forged. But he didn't use any command points, so I had my command points, which obviously helped me as well. So I do try to tone everything down.
Of course,
but it's hard. It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard being a badass. Yeah, I got it.
Obviously, he likes to play competitively, and even if he's not playing a competitive list, he's quite happy to play against a competitive list, because he wants to learn, because he goes to tournaments, so he's quite happy to play anything, whether he gets stomped or not, because he has the view, well, if I lose really badly, I'm going to learn loads, so that's good. So I'm not particularly a competitive player, but I do enjoy playing a stronger list if I can, or against stronger people.
You're pretty good, yeah.
It's challenging, isn't it? So yeah.
That way you just described your friend reminds me of a conversation that Freak and I have pretty regularly. He's beaten my AdMech when I've run Stygies 8, but he hasn't beaten my Mars list yet. And I told him, dude, I think maybe it's a little fair for me to be bringing Call and Mars, and I think I'm just going to stop running them for a little while because it's starting to feel a little unfair. And he said, don't you dare. You better bring Call every single list. And I said, why? He said, well, if you don't play them against me, how am I going to learn to beat them? And if I can't beat your Mars list, how am I going to beat Tau? I said, oh, that's a pretty good attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's funny. I mean, just about every time that I played his AdMech, okay, the first time, because he'd wipe me, right? I mean, completely annihilation. And I didn't really feel bad. I felt, okay, you know what? I gave it a try, but I learned that I wasn't incorporating any of my stratagems. I wasn't incorporating any of the good strategies, especially based off my army. I kept forgetting that Imperial Fists ignore cover. Little things like that. Trying to use, Auspex scan if I'm getting some dingbat trying to, crawl up my rear end there. Little things like that I really, and use my command points. Here I am. I've got a handful of command points that are just sitting on the table. And look, Mythos is going through command points like crazy. And I'm like, oh, I guess I should spend a command point, Yeah. So again, it's the evolution. And my thing is, all right, you know what? I want to get a little more serious. I want to be a little more competitive, not to the point to where I crushed your skull, but to the point to where it's fun. I don't want to get a shellacking and be tabled on turn 2 or even turn 1 even. And if I'm going to get shellacked, then I'd rather it be because of absolutely crappy dice rolls, So if I have no control over that, but I do have control over where I put my armies, who do I put out up front, how do I deal with a shooty army coming against me versus like Mythos is all Space Wolves. Well, when he brings a Space Wolf army, the thing that I have to watch for is two things. I have to watch his part of his army that is shooting, distracting me, while his other half is just running up with his cavalry, ready to chomp my side. And learning those little things and playing that and trying to develop a good strategy to counter, I've actually gotten better. And our games have been pretty close. It's been like a tit for tat. Now, depends how the dice rolled. That's pretty much left off the Lady Luck. But for the most part, I'd say that my strategy has gotten a little more sound, a little more, grounded, and I've done better, with that. And it does help when you go with an attitude where, okay, you know what, I lost today, but I learned something, and I can actually incorporate that, that information into my next game.
Yeah. So I think smaller games is also a good way to take any bitterness out of losing. So for me, anything that's at 1,500 points, but below 1,500 points, is just a fun game. So if I'm playing 1,000 points, I don't care what happens, If I'm playing 2,000 points, I want to win. To me, it's like a serious game.
Right.
If I'm playing 1,000 points, it's like just practice. I use those small games just to try out something new. To try out some different combinations, maybe. And you don't feel it if it hurts you. If you lose, it doesn't really hurt you.
Right.
So I think potentially if you're on a losing streak, smaller games could be quite useful. It also means potentially you might get like 2 games in one night. So you might lose the first one, but then you have a second game, you might got a chance of winning that one.
Right.
Whereas if you play 2,000 points, you get stomped. You might have to wait a whole week or a couple of weeks or another month before you play again. Sometimes just small games add in that fun factor as well.
I do have a question, though, and it's something that I just want to get in the head of this Necron King here, okay? At what point do you get salty? Does Nick ever get to a point where he gets salty playing a game?
I get annoyed with myself sometimes, yeah. In that last game when the Seraptic blew up, well, it didn't blow up, but then I re-rolled the dice and then it did blow up. When in my mind, I thought the Wolven are surrounding me. Like if I blow up and I explode like 5 inches, I've got potential, to wipe out a good chunk of Wolven. and I did get carried away in the heat of the moment that it would be fun as well. So I rolled it and it blew up, and then I did the how many inches it blows up, and it was 11 inches. And it's like, that's going to hit all of my destroyers, and I rolled a 5 for my destroyers. I rolled a 6 for my other unit destroyers. I killed my cryptic with the cloak. And then what did I roll against Richard's Wolven?
1 damage.
The 1. And yeah, I was really annoyed with myself. It's like, Richard obviously, I kept my words under my breath. I mean, Richard could tell I was a bit unhappy with that. It's like, straight away I thought, yeah, that's it. That's the game lost, you know? But like Richard said to me on many occasions, you know, when something bad happens, I do gather my thoughts quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And the previous game before that, when his Wolfen got into my ranks and he killed a few other bits and pieces on the table, the next turn I just concentrated on what was in front of me. You know, it says, right, okay, well, this turn, that was a bad turn, but this turn, you know, I've got that there, which I think I can kill. You know, there's that there, which I can kill. There's something at the back, which I can't do anything about, so let's just concentrate on what I can kill. And then I just take each turn as it came, and I sort of gradually pulled it back, and in the end, I won the game. But yeah, I get annoyed with myself, you know, but I don't tend to nerd rage and quick rage and all that stuff. You
Right,
know?
right.
Yeah. But
he's too chill for that.
Yeah.
Funniest thing, it just because Mythos and I had a game at his house, right, on his coffee table, and I had never played my knight. I took my beautifully painted knight. It was its maiden voyage, you know, and I'm like, okay, Mythos, we're finally going to get these two to face off and go toe to toe. It's going to be epic, and we were so excited. We were still excited, even. Oh. That was probably the most stressful, emotional roller coasting. I mean, we were, and here's the thing, because of my crap, and he'll tell you, my crappy rolls, I lost. I mean, when I get upset, I get very sarcastic, almost sarcastic, pissy, you know. Like, oh yeah, I'm having a great time. Oh, I actually freaking love it. Hey, guess what? You're killing me. Oh, you want me to just jump now? Huh? You know, and just get absolutely just.
There were some parts of the videos we cut out because it went from entertaining salty to like uncomfortable levels of salty.
Yeah, and like Mythos, what happens with him is like he gets very, you know. I don't.
That's fine. Just okay.
Just roll. Just roll. Oh,
allegedly.
Oh yeah, allegedly. That's not been a factual thing because we never really. It's like okay. Oh, okay. You might as well take that out too. Okay, that's gone.
You know what? Let me just go ahead and take this squad.
Let's take the squad. Right. So the whole night, that's how it was. It was like, you know, and then dice rolls started changing, you know, and all of a sudden it's like we were doing this the whole time, left and right. And I tell you what, we had not played a game since, really, because it was just very, very emotionally charged because, you know, and it wasn't like we were trying to be competitive. It's just the swings were so hard and deep that, you know, it was very emotionally tasking, you know. And I've never experienced a game like that. I've never had a game like that where, you know, it's like, all right, we're doing this, and then I'm on cloud 9 and I'm destroying him and he's over there deflated, and all of a sudden and I'm like, you wiped my knight. You took my knight. And I started getting upset because this is the first time I get to play he hardly got a shot off. I was rolling that bad. I couldn't get anything out of it. And all of a sudden, here he comes. Guess who he brings to come and take it out?
The Wolfen.
Freaking Wolfen.
Heroic.
That's bad, isn't it?
Freaking Wolfen. And I was like, oh, and I was trying to get to the Wolfen before they got to the Knight. I was shooting spitballs, might as well. And next, Wolfen came out and just boom, gone.
And they are fast. You didn't really have a whole lot of chance to. Once you saw what I was aiming for,
Nope.
You didn't really have a lot of chance to. Especially since I got a 6 to advance, and they got to advance and charge. They moved 15 plus charging 8 inches or something like that.
Oh, we're reliving it again. We're reliving it again. We're gonna recant that, are we? We're gonna bring it back. We're gonna.
My intent wasn't to bring back the salt. I was just saying that you did what you could, but they just moved too fast for you to deal with.
They were extremely fast, and I even told them, I hate your Wolfen, man. I really do. That was a fantastic. The strategy was so beautiful.
You know who you hated more than the Wolfen?
Yeah, that freaking priest. Screw that
jump
priest.
pack wolf priest.
Screw
You said
that.
this guy is ruining my life.
I hated that. Every time I come across that priest, I'm like, why are you bringing that? Why are you freaking bringing that? Why are you bringing that? Okay, you know what? Fine. I'm fine. Guess who? I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to kill it.
All right.
I think that is something which happens when you play someone a lot, though, is especially when you both have the same armies that you play every week. Every week you try to outdo each other. That's what happened with my buddy, and again in the old days before I used to record the back reps. 1 week he'll bring this, and then the next week I'll bring something to counter it, and then he'll all of a sudden have a totally different army. Then you try and switch things up to surprise your opponent. I think that's probably what he enjoyed the most. He enjoys, like, okay, well, you're playing that. So how can I counter that? What am I going to take? And then when I got more armies and I was playing a different army every week, I think that's when he lost that, because he didn't even know what army I was going to play. So I might turn up, so I've got Necrons 1 week, and then the next week I might have Tyranids. So then we ended up saying, right, well, next week, I'm going to be playing this. So at least he could then, match up. It almost, I suppose you could say it's list tailoring to a point. But it's a natural course of evolution when you're playing somebody at the same time, all the time.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I've made a focus on collecting so many armies is that way it doesn't go stale. There's always, whether he can get a different feeling facing my AdMech or my Space Wolves or eventually my Ultramarines,
Yeah.
The crazy part about us is now we won't share typically our lists with each other until the night that we're playing the game.
That's because you don't make your list until the night we play the game.
Well, we used to have when we used to have units in reserve, we never told them what it was.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we used to say, right, I'm going to put my elites in reserve, and that's all we used to say. I'm going to put my heavy support in reserve. You put it in, and when it came on turn 3 or turn 2 or whenever it was, that's when you found out what the reserves was.
Oh wow!
Because that's how it would be in real life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You wouldn't know what was coming at you if you were in battle, would you? So that's how we used to play it. Yeah, in the old days.
All right, so to get us somewhat back caught up with our chat. We're a little behind, but going back to the Necron stratagems you're talking about, Running Bear says some rules you were asking about is that the first rule of the emergency beam was to make it clear that they can come on round 1. Necrons can come on round 1. That is interesting. He says for him, he can handle Necrons pretty well with his Dark Angels. Of course, I feel like Dark Angels and Ultramarines are probably in some of the stronger spots for Space Marines. And he says, except for the stratagem that allows the 6-inch template with a flyer that does D3 mortal wounds, that gets me every time. I bet so, especially since Dark Angels and Ultramarines like to castle up, have a very centralized location.
Yeah, that's when you've got 3 Doom Scythes, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I only have 1 Doom Scythe, so I can't play that yet.
Might be something to look into. When is the beer's birthday? Claydog33 says, I took a fairly hardcore Salamander's army. Now, when you say hardcore Salamander's army, is that really a Salamander's army? Or is that one of those knights with Imperial Guard batteries and a sprinkling of Salamanders?
Come on, don't impute the Salamander guy, man. Come on.
Salamander.
Come on.
I'm just playing, my man. It's just that's the only Space Marine army I ever see competitively is like they throw in 3 or 4 Space Marines and it's a Space Marine list. We all know that the Knights do the heavy lifting in that. He says he took him up against the Krons and smashed them. To be honest, at high level, Krons do struggle. And I think I've heard Nick say the same thing before, that once he gets to a real competitive level, that they struggle more. Pyro Pasea, my brother Ethan, of course, says as long as the game is fun, he doesn't usually mind a stomping, and certain models of your opponents become infamous. Absolutely. Everybody, especially those friends you play there, they get tired of seeing that one guy. Who's that for your buddy of your Blood Angels? Who does he hate seeing you pull out of the case?
Everything.
God darn your everything.
Yeah. I do remember Thraka being a problem for me in the old days when I was playing my Eldar. Yeah, I first started playing my Eldar. He was playing Thraka with the knobs where you could do wound allocation shenanigans. And then when Thraka did the War, I think he got a 2+ invulnerable save on the charge with the War. And I was playing this finesse Eldar army that I had no idea how to play. And he stomped me every single week. And in actual fact, it was that scenario which got me having a look on the internet, because it's like, how the hell do you play Eldar? And I was on the Librarian Online forum. I was on there and somebody posted, check out these tactical videos on Eldar. They're really good. I clicked the link and Fritz 40K's video was on there. And that's how I started. So I started watching Fritz's videos, and then I got better with the Eldar, and I did turn it around in the end. That day, I still remember it today, the day that I killed Thraka for the first time in my Eldar.
Oh, sweet pepper. Okay, so Darby says he learns from most losses. Playdog says, nope, pure salamanders. Bad respect, my man, because I love when people actually manage to be successful with their army without having to go. I mean, it's so, and we're going to talk about this here in a minute, but it's so, the cheese is so cookie cutter, where it's like, you got to have a little 32 and you got to have, the biggest knight that you can pay for. And then, of course, some Space Marines. But the fact that you're managing to go that hardcore with pure salamanders is amazing. Much respect, my man. Atomic Dog Scale Model Freak. Brian says, my first 40K game lasted only 30 minutes. Orcs versus Grey Knights. I was clueless about how orcs need transports to move quickly. No bikes, no trucks to store, boys. Just knobs, boys, and cans, and a dread running up the field. Oof. He also didn't know that Grey Knights teleport, and he was right behind his lines and wiped me out. Yep. Runny Bear said, you can solo Space Marines and do well if it's more about playing the scenario rather than killing. See, that's one of the things that frustrates me is a lot in this meta is everything kills Space Marines. And I hate maybe I just am not supposed to be a Space Marine. But I hate the idea that I'm supposed to die acceptably and just play the mission, right? Like that. Why is dying my strategy? Right? That just doesn't sit well with me. But that's what I see a lot in a lot of Space Marines. They're like, just grab the objectives, put out as many bodies as you can, let them kill you. Don't focus on killing them and play the game. And I'm like, that's a game, it's sure. But if I'm getting my butt kicked the whole time, it doesn't feel worth it. And then Brian says, almost had a tear fall from defeat. I got you one better. I'd been playing my Space Wolves for about 3 or 4 weeks, and they talked me into joining the local tournament. And an Eldar with Dark Reaper spam wiped out my Space Wolves in cover turn 1. Oh. Like, It was the 1 minute of shame.
Oh, I've got an even better story for you, though.
Okay.
Playing 4th edition, I think it's the Stronghold mission, I think it was called. And it's when, I don't know if you've heard of sentries at all in the game. So basically, each army had a set of sentries. So Necrons, for example, had 4 sentries, and they had like spotting distances. And then the Blood Angels would have, say, 6 sentries, and they might have better spotting distance. So we're playing this game, and the mission was the Necrons had to secretly destroy the stronghold in the middle of the table. And the Blood Angels were activated when they spotted the Necrons. So the Blood Angels are able, in their turn, they're able to move their sentries. When they get into spotting distance, or if the Necrons shot, for example, or assaulted the Blood Angels, then they would basically activate. So, of course, the idea is, if you were defending the stronghold, is you surround the stronghold. My buddy decided to leave a little gap in the stronghold, and I managed to walk my Necron units, avoiding his sentries, all the way up on my turn 1 and explode the sentry without my buddy even having a go, not even moving anything. So literally, it was just we set straight up and started again, and he redeployed his models around the sentry, around the fortification. I love those old missions, though. You know, they really did change things up. When you had attacker and defender. Sorry?
I was just saying, yeah, it seems like it'd be really interesting to play.
Yeah. 4th edition missions were the best.
I almost wish I had gotten into it earlier. Much like yourself, I started around 30, and so I've missed a lot of content, in the meantime. All right, so Fire Breathing Duck says, took me a while to understand that units will die and accept losses as a thing that can help you win games. And Running Bear totally agrees. I totally agree as well, understanding that there are some acceptable casualties. I just don't think that should be my strategy, right? I don't feel like I hear tournament people say this all the time. Never expect your Space Marine army to kill a Tau list, which I know. I've read Running Bear's report earlier, and apparently he made that work. But I've actually heard a tournament player say, don't expect your Space Marine list to kill Tau because shield drones are just so hard to kill. It's like you just have to avoid them, stay in cover, and try not to get shot. And I'm like, I have to. Space Marines are supposed to be the most hardcore, no fearing people entire game, and my strategies I gotta hide like a bitch. Why? So, I felt like that was not the way. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it makes sense to me. All right. So, anyways, I had to look to make sure my little girl's door was shut. And Running Bear says getting through shield drones are easy with enough bolters. Okay, fair enough. All right. So I'm going to need that tactic one day when I allow myself to play against Tau again. My current rules, I don't play against Tau. All right. So what are some of the other highlights that y'all want to talk about from the FAQ? Obviously, we can't go through everything right now. Is there anything that really stood out to you guys? We talked about bolter discipline and how I feel like Death Watch got shafted. I
don't think so, really. And obviously the Knights.
Knights, yes, I would.
Yeah, agree. I mean that's the biggest thing, I think, isn't it? And I think it's a good move. I've heard of people that are still playing 3 Castellans or whatever they're called, even with the new rules. So.
I feel like it took them long enough. I mean, the fact that like 7 out of your 10 top 10 armies, every event for an entire year, that wasn't a signal that maybe they're a little unbalanced. When it's every single, you couldn't find almost, apparently we have some legit Space Marine lists in the chat here, which, kudos to these amazing guys. But you could almost not find an event, a tournament list that didn't include a Castellan Knight. and then they would call it Imperial Guard or Space Marines, but it was always something, or even AdMech. AdMech's been on top recently in a few tournaments, but it's always a sprinkling of something. And oh yeah, here's my, huge Castellan as the center point of my army. So I mean, of course, then there's my foil hat time, right? Conspiracy theories. Of course, I feel like they're just now getting around to nerfing it because they're like, well, sales are finally starting to decline for Castellans. I think every house in America owns a Castellan now. Every house in the UK, most of them in New Zealand and in Spain. I think we've distributed enough. Let's go ahead and nerf the crap out of them.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt that the rules reflect sales, and it's always been the case. In the old days, you had to have one HQ, 2 troops. What you did, you took the minimum amount of troops. If I was playing Tyranids, I'd have 2 squads of 3 Ripper Swarms, and then everything else was elites, because the elites was, where the power was. And then that's why they introduced the rule. Okay, well now troops are the only units that can score objectives. So now everyone has to go out and buy their troops. They look in their warehouse. That's not selling. I've got a pile of them. Right, let's do something about it.
Yeah,
it's obvious, but
it's business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think for me, one of the most important changes is that they capped the invul save on a knight to 4+, which as a Space Wolf player, I'm pretty happy to see because I felt like this should have happened a long time ago. You telling me that when the Space Wolf Codex came out, it was too powerful to have a Dreadnought with the 3-up save, but you left it on the massive Imperial Knight, the biggest, the Castellan class Knight, Dominus. You left the 3-up invul on that, but I can't have a Dreadnought with the 3-up invul? That felt very unfair to me. So I felt like that was a necessary change. If I can't have a 3-up on my robot, you can't have a 3-up on your robot. Running Bear says...
I don't think there's much else, is there? Sorry, carry on.
I was just saying the points change will definitely help shake up some of the 100 points. I mean, that'll help shake up some of the Castellan lists. Maybe we'll start seeing a variety of things. Now, interesting thing is that the change to the Knights they say are going to make, and the 2 that they named specifically, because Eldar and Castellan Knights were keeping Tau and Necrons in check. So they said that we're probably going to see some more power play coming up with the fact that they've taken some of the power away from those Knights. Checking up on the chat. Roxas lives. Welcome back, my brother. Darby says the flyer changed. So this is something, and of course you don't run 3 flyers in your army list, but if you did, it might be a thing. The fact that you can move underneath their bases now. That used to be, and I think that makes sense, not only because, I mean, flyers shouldn't stop you from being able to come underneath them, right? But I mean, so logically you should be able to move underneath flyers, but also because it also makes sense where that was a strategy that was mostly used to counter night lists, right? But now they've taken some of the power away from night lists. It seems like a good rebalancing of power.
Yeah, I've never really got into flyers that much. I own 1 flyer. So no, just for some reason, just doesn't float my boat at the game. Don't know why.
I have one with the Space Wolves. I mostly use it as a transport to take around my big hitters, but I don't know. I think with my Ultramarines, I might want to try a little more flyer action. Obviously, I'm not going to try and, cheese it, but we'll see how it goes. Clay Dog says that for him, the big thing was the Craft World powers no longer affect Dark Eldar, and I agree with it. So that's going to take a lot of power away from these mixed lists like Ynnari. But for most of us, especially like Imperial players, our powers have always been specific to our codex, right? We were actually talking about me and Freak, like as a Space Wolf, I wish I could get Might of Heroes, from the Space Marine Codex and buff up, one of my characters. But it makes sense. Like if everybody else has to cast powers at their own Codex list, then it makes sense that they would make that change for Eldar as well. But that right there, that big change to Yunari, Yunari has been on top for such a long time, and they're still an index army. So
Oh, wow.
that's a sign that they were so strong they stayed on top as an index army. So that's another big one as well. Have you had to play against any Yunari, Nick? I don't think I've seen you go up against them before.
No. I've done played against Dark Eldar and Eldar combined, but not Yunari. No, never. Sounds like it's a good thing.
Running Bear says the remover of Bolter Drill from Death Watch, who are supposed to be the best with bolters, it makes no sense. I agree, my friend, and I feel like they nerf people who are already. I mean, like I said earlier in the chat, I've never seen a Death Watch tournament list that was just like really, really giving a pounding to other people. I felt like that nerf was completely unnecessary, like shoving over a kid, that was in your way. Like you probably could have gotten around the kid without shoving him over, but you decided to shove him over anyways. That's what I felt like the treatment Death Watch got. Like, why? Why did we nerf this? Why did we feel like we needed to nerf the puppy by kicking him?
Oh, there's somebody out there, who doesn't like
Why
puppies.
that analogy?
Great.
Because it was sad, babe. It was sad.
That's what you're gonna come up with.
So those are all the biggest ones. I agree. And then I feel like they will be pretty good for the meta-ish. I'm actually kind of a little nervous because before everything was based around the Castellan soup lists, right? At my local game store, I had told Freak that we went to this place where some of our group tried to start up a new, let's go hang here every Friday night place. And I'm not going to bother naming the place, but we walked in and there were 5 tables to play on. And at 5 tables, there were 6 Tau armies. One of them was literally Tau versus Tau.
Oh.
And I said, I'm done. I'm never coming back here again. And my buddy was like, I'll take a slightly less powerful Tau list. It'll be fine. And he's such a positive guy. Every turn, he would take off I don't know.
Atlas?
Yeah.
I'll call him out. I don't care.
He would take off 10 of my units and be like, it's fine. You could totally bring it back. I don't know, man. I've got a fork and the kitchen guy left in my army. He's like, no. Trust me. This next dice roll can really change the game. All right. Just everything. I literally have nothing left this round. I have one wolf hiding in a box. No. Those things are really good at combat. I'm pretty sure if you roll well this next round, you could totally win the whole game.
That's what he just
I really don't think I can. I'm just going to go ahead and pick up my army. No. Play it out.
Ones.
He's just so positive.
I'm supposed to be getting up. My alarm's going.
Oh.
Holy
Morning.
cow. I see the sun's coming up over there.
Okay.
Bear says he never uses a knight, so it doesn't hurt him. And Ethan says he would like to get the Lancer Knight eventually. I know, they look cool. I really want all of those Cerastus Knights. I have one of them, the Atropos. I want the Lancer one next, and then the one with the bolter and sword.
I think it's the Lancer that I got. That's the one I picked up.
I thought you got the one with the Mega Bolter and sword.
No, I'm pretty sure it was the Lancer.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to look at it, see. Oh, Dark Like Dreamer says, hi, Nick.
Hello.
Dark Light Dreamer, I'm so excited he's got his computer parts in. We may have the return of some Let's Plays soon.
Can't wait.
Excellent. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah.
I still sat 3 Chaplain Dreads with a twin I still think that 3 Chaplain Dreads with twin link glass cannons are better. Oh, I mean, you can probably get those for around the same price as a knight. That's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Get you a little Supreme Command attachment there. Boom.
So, Nick, let me ask you this, because there's been a lot of speculation, and yeah, you know what? Let's just stick with the speculation. We've got a lot of love for Chaos, right?
Yeah.
This season, and I get it. They haven't really had a whole lot here in the last couple of years, and I get it. Now it's time to actually bolster and get them to where they need to be. Do you think that's going to be pretty much the end of any kind of loyalist boost until maybe next year or the year after? You think we're going to see anything loyalist get a little love as well?
Well, there's supposed to be Emperor's Children Codex at some point coming.
Mm.
When that will be, I don't know, but I think it's going to happen. I think it's on the cards, so I don't think it's going to be the end of the Chaos releases. No, I think there's something on the horizon.
Yeah, I'm still hoping for Dorn. You know, somehow he just comes through, and they find him floating in the warp, and it's like, oh hey, what have you done? What's going on? You know, and have a good fist fight with Gilliman.
If some people theorize the the Emperor's Children Primarch will be coming out with that codex. If they bring out a Primarch for your Emperor's Children, will you be picking him up?
I don't know. Probably not, to be fair, because, well, my Emperor's Children really isn't. I'm not doing the army to play the game as such. I will play with them, but that's like secondary to me. It's about it's about building on them and converting them and just having a nice looking army, more than how they're going to perform on the table. I have no idea how they're going to perform. I've taken all of my Noise Marines with sonic weapons, which I don't know whether that's tactically good or bad. Like every single guy's got one of those on. So it's more about the game is sort of irrelevant almost. Mm-hmm. So I plan to play the Noise Marines.
They were kind of your therapy army, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly. The rest of the army is going to be more demon based. I'm going to have the Noise Marines there, and my vision is like demonettes and demon princes. That's more Xenos side of me. Probably will be injected into the army more than the actual Marines.
Mm.
Yeah. But obviously, the whole Chaos Army was started because I was basically given or won on YouTube a good number of Chaos models.
What a surprise!
Yeah. So that's why I started a Chaos Army. But in the end, I chose Emperor's Children, which didn't actually utilize hardly anything from what I was given. So I still have a bunch of Chaos models. So you never know. Once the Emperor's Children are done, might do another faction.
Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry. So to answer your question, I probably won't be picking up the Primarch. Because I'm not that flush with money. So it's like the Keeper of Secrets has just come out, and that's like £85. And I've just had a letter from my daughter's school. She's got school trips coming up and stuff.
Oh.
It's like £40 odd. And
those are not cheap.
It's like, that's where the money's going to go if I need to spend money. So, I might
the other
pick it
day,
up at some
uniforms
point.
and stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, going up to the senior schools. There's a whole new closet of uniforms, and all the pencil cases and everything. It all adds up. So that's my priority. Yeah.
Speaking of, I really, really enjoyed those bits with Necron Girl. I could not. I've got 3 daughters. They're all grown. My baby had just got married, and she's actually going to have a baby here soon of her own. And it's just so cool to see her. And she is feisty. She's got so much.
Yeah.
I really loved her in your vlog and in your Q&A.
Yeah, and in the outtakes.
Yeah,
she was a mess. I'm like, oh my god.
We did have a lot of fun. Yeah.
I have to say, and I mean this in the most loving way, my friend, but in the outtakes, the number of times you made her stop and start over, I was like, man, Nick is pretty strict on getting these quotes right. And then I love that she ended that last one looking like, really, Dad? Like, yes.
That was on the other outtakes, not the vlog outtakes.
Right.
Correct.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, she was like, oh man, she's looking. She had enough. Oh, the look. Ooh, I recognize the look.
All right, Nick, I know you've got to get ready for work soon. So one last thing I really want to get your opinion on,
Yeah.
especially as someone who's been painting in the hobby for a long time. And one of the people that I would consider as, one of the higher skilled members of our community as far as painting goes. After all, I'm just going to throw in a quick plug for a series he's no longer doing. But if you go back and see his Year of the Wolf stuff, his Space Wolf Army is my favorite Space Wolf Army on all of YouTube.
That's how we got here.
Yeah. Because I got obsessed with that series and I spammed like 100 videos in one weekend. It was fantastic. And anyways,
getting back to the wolves though at some point. I've still got more units to paint. Yeah.
Yes.
I think Mito just piddled.
Just a little bit. And so I want to know what you think GW might be doing with this solution to 50 Shades,
Yes.
So we've seen the Matrix commercial. We've seen the of course 50 Shelves of Grey, which I think is hilarious. And then of course I've seen a couple of channels like Feel No Pain Wargamers. They talked about a special paint line or magic paint as they called it that would be easy to use for amateur painters. And then of course Redbeard Boston. I'm going to link some of these up when we upload the video. But some of them say that it might be something, or Redbeard said it might be an airbrush coming out to help people do their armies faster or better. But as you who've seen a lot of trends come and go with GW, and you who's got a pretty high level of painting, what do you think that they might be doing to solve the 50 Shelves of Grey problem?
Okay, yeah. When I first heard about it, my instant thoughts was pre-painted models.
That's what I said.
That's what I said. Or potentially pre-built and primed models ready for painting. We've already got the single posed pop together models, so why not just bring a model out that's like a Reaper Bones type model? It's built, primed, ready to go. So that's my instant thoughts. I think the airbrush option has a potential, but I don't think it's an airbrush because is that really easy to use? It's not really. The perception might be that it's easy to use, but it's not, is it? And also it's very competitive markets. The markets, I think it's going to be a hard one for them to crack, really. So I'm not convinced it's going to be a dry brush, an airbrush. If it is a paint, the only thing that I can think of which should be maybe revolutionary is this a paint that works like a shade but does highlights? So you wash your model with it and you actually get highlights with it.
Interesting. And I've heard some people do some really interesting things like that with acrylic inks. For that really vibrant kind of thing. They put it on like a wash and cover the model, but they get the vibrant places in more areas. So it could be something like that.
Maybe that's what I'm sort of thinking along those lines.
I think the reason. Go ahead, Mythos.
No, go ahead. You're first.
Well, no, I was going to say I think the reason why I still subscribe to the idea that it may be pre-painted and assembled models is the whole Matrix theme thing, right? So basically he says, I can only show you the truth, and here there's already a painted model and there's a gray model, right? And so the fact that he grabbed the fully painted model, and basically when he says, all I can show you is the truth, that's all. Okay. I found that really interesting because, why a painted model? Why a fully assembled model as well? Of course, they were doing the contrast, right? Okay, here you get a gray model versus one that's not that has been completely painted. But when they did the 50 Shades of Grey thing, once again, it was like it just seems to be moving towards that. And I've seen other companies do this, by the way. I've seen where they've actually modeling companies where they would take a similar model and will actually produce a pre-painted, of course, for a higher price, which makes perfect sense in my mind, especially business sense. If you're going to charge more money for a already pre-painted, ready-to-play model. And I think for somebody that is brand new, that doesn't have any skill or feels they have no skill at all, I think that would be a perfect market for that. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, especially if you look at, sorry, my first, especially looking at what they've done. It's all about starter sets these days.
Right.
Getting people into the hobby, and absolutely, I wouldn't surprise me if it was a starter set with pre-painted models.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I didn't think about the starter set angle. Yep.
Okay, so to Nick's point, I was about to heavily disagree with you, Freak. But then Nick brought up a great choice. If it's just certain things, right, like starter sets or whatever, a very controlled thing like they did with the No Fear set, and I mean even like one box like Dark Imperium, I could see that. I can't really see them doing a line, and here's the reason: the man hours. Right. I think the labor is going to be too intensive for them to justify a profit margin, even if they sell for double the price, right? I think the profit, like the labor, is really going to cut into their profit margins too much. I mean, if they go for even more than double, I mean, possibly, but I have trouble seeing them.
How do you justify that? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine you go into Warhammer World and you accidentally take the wrong door and it leads you to little GW sweatshops where there's just rows and rows of people trying to get, do edge highlighting.
They wouldn't be painted like that, though, would they? I mean, I imagine it'd be, just machine.
Yeah,
like Star Trek Attack Wing or X-Wing and stuff,
Which would concern me because they look great on vehicles, but if you look at some of the figures painted up like that, and let's use HeroClix for an example, those are pretty terribly painted up. So it's like
some people don't mind though, do they? Some people just don't want to paint; they just want to play the game.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's a different market to the market they've got now.
That's fair.
I have to agree with you. I don't believe that it's going to be a full line. I don't see how. I don't know. It depends again, like you said, if it makes business sense. But to be able to get a new player started into the game, which is exactly what they've been trying to do ever since they pushed out 8th edition, this whole campaign of bringing new blood in, because really the majority of players definitely range anywhere from 30 to 50, so they're trying to tilt the scale more to a lower market, or a younger demographic, right? So if they can somehow entice a young player to say, hey, look, you don't have to paint it. Here's a starter box, right? And this will get you going. And they even have some painting tips and tricks with the box.
Sure. Because if you were a 10-year-old and you went into the shop and the little box set First Strike, you look at that and you say, okay, great. They've painted. They've got green plastic. Mm-hmm. For one of them, blue plastic for the other. But if you're 10 years old, that's going to look pretty boring, isn't it? Yeah. If you looked at that and they were all, painted or at least coloured, let's say, to how they're supposed to look, it's going to be a lot more enticing. It's going to encourage that person, to want to play it.
I think you guys have made some really strong case points, and I'm leaning much closer to that than I was before, but my money is, I think, still on the airbrush idea, and the reason is just because that the quality of those commercials they've been putting out lately seem like expensive commercials. The 50 Shades, the other one that is escaping me now, the Matrix one, and I think that they would only put that kind of production on something that's going to net in a lot of money, and I think some serious hardware like the airbrush will do so, and then
I think Freak could edit those videos in half an hour.
I was gonna say, I mean, they're great. All it takes is some lighting and and some time. There's a mosquito coming after me.
And the other thing is that they've been making, of course, over the last 5 years, they had recently started introducing their airbrush paints, and
the fact that if you go look at the displays in most of the stores now, the Citadel airbrush rack is almost bigger than the original rack in some cases. It seems like they're making more of a push towards expanding their airbrush line of their paint. So, it could be, I don't know, working in steps possibly.
I think it's a good bet that it might be an airbrush. Yeah, I think it's a good bet.
Man,
yeah, will it sell? I suppose you're gonna, it depends.
I guess you have to really entice that market, though. I mean, because here's the thing, and I go back to someone who's never airbrushed before. Okay, when I first started, I'm very new, but I was very, very hesitant. I would not say that I went into it with the thought that this is going to revolutionize the way I paint. I went with it as like, okay, this is going to make it easier for me to base coat. That was it. That's all I was really. I really wasn't looking. I wasn't
Good point.
going, yeah, I wasn't going with the idea or the thought that I'm going to do some amazing work with edge highlight or with highlighting or shading or zenithal effects or any of that, or even any kind of, like, I do some fur work with the airbrush. I went in again strictly with, okay, it just takes forever for me to do this, to base coat. And here's the thing, even after painting or airbrushing, I still have to go back with my brush and go with the details.
I think one thing you're undervaluing here is that you are not normal. So I mean, but you're a little more, let's say, financially careful than some people, right?
Okay.
Some people are just like, I have to have the GW sprue clippers. I have to have the GW knife, the GW mold remover.
Yeah.
Some people are all about that brand name, and then on top of that, a lot of people don't put the research into picking up a new tool like you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it says GW on it, they get the idea in their head that it's going to make their painting easier. They'll snatch it up just because GW put it out.
Maybe that's a good
And
point.
there might be demos in store, so you can go in, have a play with it, which is what you can't do. I mean, I'd love to have a go with an airbrush, but I don't know I want to invest in one to have a go with one.
Right.
But if I can go into GW and he says, "Look, we've got this airbrush, is a model," because that's what they do, don't they? Give you a model to try out. You have a go, try it out. Oh wow, that's brilliant! How much is it? I'll have one.
Actually, I've seen that at a local game store too. When I go to Louisiana, there's a little game store called Little Wars. By the way, if you're ever in Baton Rouge, check it out. But they have an airbrush there for the store and some paints for people to use while they're there. And I'm not sure what the restrictions are if you have to, pay to use their paints or whatever. But you can, check it out and use it while you're there at the store. And then they have the same models on the shelf to use. So if you get into the habit every Tuesday, you go to the store and you do, some painting with the airbrush, and eventually you're like, man, I really like this thing. I'm gonna get one myself. They've got it right there on display for you to pick up. So
yeah.
Okay, see, that's why 33 Clay Dog is so amazing. He says that he started airbrushing before there was an internet. Come on, man! I just started airbrushing. What we started 3 years ago. 2 years ago,
Yep.
3 years ago? Yeah, when we first started. Heck, when I practically started playing a game. Oh.
Yep. When you started airbrushing 3 years ago, I started 2 years ago because I started and then I did something wrong and it turned my blue an off shade of color. It clogged up some of the details on my model because I kept trying to correct the color. And then I shoved it in the drawer for an entire year because, that was me punishing the tool, not the user. I shoved it in the drawer for an entire year. Like, nope, airbrushing is not for me.
Every time I say, so, hey, man, how you been doing with your airbrush? So, Freak, how you been doing? Ethos, how you been doing with your airbrush? Yeah. I mean, it was a conversation that he wanted to have. I'm like, what's going on, man? I'm just gonna take a break. I'm okay with, And for the longest, he was just, kept on rattle canging it or doing whatever he had to do, and yeah, it wasn't until a little later after he just finally said, okay, you know what, I'm doing it. you know. And you know what's funny? You've got a point there, Mythos. You didn't really get that encouragement until you actually came by the house. You saw me do it. You had a chance to do it, you know, and you kind of felt and tested the waters, and you went back and you said, okay, I can do this, you know, and you started little at a time, and you got your courage, and you were able to run.
Yeah. So to Nick's point, if they're doing live demos in the store, kind of like the Ginsu knife guy, it'd be it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. We'll see. It would be interesting to see which way they turn. I mean, I think it could go either way. I think there's good points on both sides.
Darby says, can you imagine if they adopted a GW paint service? Oh, hey, we YouTubers that do commission painting could all become like part of GW's fleet of painting service personnel. That would be so fun.
Yeah, with my luck. Okay, so Freak, you're gonna get all these salamanders. No more aggressors. No more aggressors. I don't want to see another aggressor.
But you know, whatever salamanders you don't pick up, 33 Clay Dog will make look amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Nick, my brother, I know you have to get ready for work soon. It's been a blast having you on the show. Is there anything else that you would like to mention or discuss before we call it a night or morning, day?
Yeah, it's 6:30 for me in the morning. So yeah. No, I think we've covered most of it. I think just going back to the new thing that's coming, I think it's a high percentage chance it will be either an airbrush or a new form of technical type paint of some description. I think the pre-painted models might happen one day, but I don't think that the new thing that's coming is that, because from what I've seen, they are definitely indicating it's something to do with actually painting, making your painting easier. But it wouldn't surprise me one day if we did have some form of pre-painted minis for, like you say, just for that entry-level startup side of things. Yeah.
Freaky, you want to close out with anything, my brother?
No, I just wanted to say, Nick, man, you've been an absolute trooper going through the warp and back in this technical hell. Man, I tell you what, it's been a heck of a storm, and I'm so glad that we finally were able to weather it and we got this done. Because I tell you what, I was about to lose my stuff, man. And then like before you came on, Nick, Mythos there, he was with this orange glow, like he was fading away into the nether, and I'm like, Mythos, what are you doing? I have no power, freak. Like, what do you mean? Where are you going? I'm fading away. And then, you know, we talked for a while. We did a couple of things. We did Chaplain Emo, which I'm going to send to you, by the way, so you can see what you may have missed. And all of a sudden, poof, by myself.
Send him the first one too.
Yeah. You know. So, but anyway, thanks so much for being really
welcome.
Cool.
Thanks for having me on. That's been awesome.
And being a real good sport about coming on at such an early hour of the morning. I haven't even seen you slurp any coffee. It would be in an IV, like right now.
I've got it here. It's here.
See, he's prepared. So.
All right. Just looking at the chat before we call it a night. Is nice to see you on here, Nick. So you're getting some thanks from Running Bear. Fire Breeding Duck says, great show, guys. Great seeing you, Nick.
Thank you.
33 Clay Dog says he teaches locals how to airbrush from painting to pulling it down and cleaning it. I need to become a local wherever he is, apparently.
Right?
It's in Australia.
I need to become a local Wait, no. It's the spider population in Australia. I'm not going there. Topic Dog Scale Model Freak says, well, good night, guys. 4 a.m. We'll be here quick. Got to go. Nick, go paint something. You rock. Frosted Fist and all chat. Have a great weekend. Good night, my brother.
Good night, buddy.
And 33 Clay Dog says, cheers for the great show, gents. Catch you all next Saturday. Awesome. Well, guys, it has been such a pleasure having Nick. It's been such a pleasure talking to all of you guys in the chat. If you guys like this show, minus all the technical difficulties, good night, Roxas, my brother, then grab up an axe and smash that like button in the name of the Emperor. go over, and I would say go check out IDICBeer 40K and subscribe. Who's not subscribed to this guy already? But if you are not for any reason,
Why?
you are doing yourself a disservice. And make sure that you check out IDICBeer 40K.
And if you happen to be in the area, just throw little rocks at his window. He might be able to peer through the blinds. Just saying.
All right. And with that, guys, instead of saying stay frosty tonight, I'm going to say beam me up.
Beam me up.
I can't stand y'all. Take care, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.